Look at that.
Nice.
Look out. Yeah. Look out. We got wheels on the car. Wheels on the car. Oh, good stuff, guys. We're waiting for Mr. Rojas to join us, so we won't immediately launch into the Surface Noise presentation. But if you're watching this, we're starting to get some folks in the room. Appreciate you. Let's see. Yep, I'm wrenching some people. I'm learning some things. So if you're in the gallery, say hey, and I'll throw you a wrench your way. Oh, AZ Mick, look out! I'm about to wrench you. Here it comes. We are getting dangerous. I'm a wrench. Bam. Bam. Jason Arsenal. I know you didn't ask for it, but you're getting it anyway. Wrench. Ranch. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't see the wrenches appear in the.
Hang on, Arnold. I'm gonna wrench you up.
No, in the comments on when you're looking at the comments. In
StreamYard. Yeah. Oh, Art's on here. Art, what's going on? Guess what, Art? I got a present for you. I don't know if it's your birthday or not. You just got a ranch. Now it's Nick. He's getting a ranch too. Everybody getting wrenches. Oh, there's Rojas. Now we can get the show on the road. Hang on. Beep bop boo bop. No more wrenches. I mean, I'll wrench you up later, fellas and ladies, if you're in there. There he is. Look at this guy. Got your Barbie cup and everything. Proud of you. Good stuff.
You watched that movie?
No, I haven't. I'm so far behind on movies. It's embarrassing.
Not gonna ruin it for you.
All right, please don't. All right, well, let's go ahead and kick into the. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends or sometimes ends. And it doesn't matter if you're bald or if you've got split ends, if you're a Barbie or a Ken. This is Surface Noise, back at you every other Thursday, causing mischief and mayhem. If you're watching this live or if you're listening to this later on Vinyl Community Podcast, thanks for joining us. I am Concert Buddy, or Boudet in French. I'm joined by esteemed panelists. We'll start with Mr. Hall of Fame joining us. How's it going, Brandon?
How's it going?
Good, sir. Good to have you on board for this presentation.
Yeah,
and then down south in that little big town of Austin, Texas, the one, the only, Jason Rojas. Jason, what's a good word?
I'm just melting. That's all. Yeah.
Is it so hot? It like the will to live just like is leaving your body, like your life force wants to just give up?
I think if you're out in the heat too long, you will make poor decisions. That's like, do I need this box set? Maybe.
You're saying it's so hot, and then you seek refuge in the record store, and then you're not of sound mind, and then it just feels like it makes a better decision to pay $150 for a UHQR. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I was full. We can talk about that later.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, we'll bring that one up. And then in the cool comfort of the NYC, Arnaldo Fidelios _frequency. How you doing, pal?
Hey guys, hi Chance. How's it going?
Going terrific.
It's nice and cool. So
nice.
Jason, today I think maybe the high was like 80 something. So, and it's breezy and yeah, it's really beautiful. I don't even have the AC on tonight. So
now he's showing off. That's what we call a flex.
But Jason, at least you're not wearing a hat. Remember when you would be on screened, you'd have a little hat because it was cold in Minnesota. So
yeah, you go from one extreme to another, Jason. Yeah. You're in Minnesota and you're wearing a cap like an Eskimo in an igloo, and now. Is that sweat on your brow? I mean, is it that hot? You're sweating inside?
Right. I don't know. Maybe I just like punishment, right?
Good stuff. Well, we got a couple of pre-chosen topics we'll talk through. And as always, we do first hour-ish where we talk through these topics, and that's for the podcast. And then afterwards, we do some freestyling, talk about what we've got, topics of the day, controversial hot takes or not takes, all that good stuff. So let's kind of launch into topic numero uno. And it's interesting when trying to figure out what to talk about on this stuff, I keep going back to my sports roots, and Brandon can appreciate this because Brandon is a Hall of Famer at his college basketball player, so I'm sure you can appreciate this one. But I got to thinking, and I think I heard this from somebody else. Actually, several people have said they've slowed down their purchases this year for numerous reasons, personal financial situations, inflation. the cost of not only new vinyl going up, but used vinyl going up, kind of like A to B, A to B. So I got to thinking, is there an off season? Is there like a down period in the record collecting? Is it the summer? Is it the winter? So Brandon, we'll kind of kick it off with you. For you, is there like a dedicated time each year that you just kind of slow it down? Is it around the holidays, or is it really just very subjective?
Yeah, I think it's very subjective, and I would almost put it in the context of like maybe people that like to buy records, like to play records and enjoy that, and then like I guess what we refer to as the collectors or the audiophiles and all that kind of stuff. And I think like for those, all of us that are on the panel, I would say I would kind of put into that latter category. I really don't feel that there's an off season where just because Christmas has come around, we're not paying attention to new releases or going out and buying things, or just because the weather's nicer outside, so we're doing more outdoor activities, that somehow the record shops really get, and just buying in general gets kind of pushed back. I think once you're kind of in that level of obsession that I feel like most of us are, it's kind of a constant thing all year round, where there might be times when we decide to take breaks. Like, I'm just sick of dealing with this, but it's not a season. It's more so like I need to rejuvenate, and I'll have times like that where just for a week and a half, 2 weeks sometimes, like I'm not going into my music room. I'm not playing any records. So I'm very adamant about not putting rules on myself where I have to be spinning records this often, this many. When I'm feeling it, I go for it. When I don't, I don't. But there's no off season.
So let's dig a little deeper there. So how do you recognize that? Like, I don't want to use the word burnout, but you feel personally you're like, I'm going to take a little bit of a respite. Now, obviously, like when we travel or we go out of town or whatever, that's kind of like imposed. But then there's also like, hey, I'm in a different place. Let's check out the record store. So how would you describe like when it's time to kind of like chill for a hot minute? How would you describe that feeling?
It's almost as simple as saying, like, do I feel pushed towards having to go to the record store? Do I feel pushed like I need to go down in the basement, but I kind of, or do I feel like I'm pulled, like I can't wait to get, and it really is almost that simple. And I think if you just kind of pay attention to, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing at this moment than spinning a record, or there's actually 3 or 4 of the things, but I need to play that record I got. Like, just those 2 statements alone just are worlds apart to me. It's just you go with your gut, more or less.
Sure, I mean, sure. Well, Arnaldo, since you are collecting from the inside, which was a great episode that we had together, from the business lens, is there? Well, first of all, let's talk about the collector lens. Do you feel that there's times of the year that you kind of deliberately or intentionally pause, slow down your collecting, and conversely, or I guess along those same lines, from the business lens, is there like an off-season approach from the labels and so forth?
Well, from a personal point of view, I would say that there are periods of peak rather than off seasons for me. Usually December and January are the 2 months that I kind of catch up on the things that I missed from the previous year, and it could spill over until like February. And that is tied to the fact that there aren't that many new releases coming out in the first quarter. And here we go back to the business industry, the business music industry and the business side of it, where the hotter releases start coming out from September all the way through November. And those are the really peak months. The lull is January and February, and some of the major releases the more important releases start coming out around March. So I kind of follow that calendar for some reason.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Well, Jason, what about you? I mean, you've got a humdinger, as they say, of a collection. Do you ever intentionally be like, you know what, I need to chill? And does it happen regularly, or is it just kind of like Brandon was saying? It's just like, all right,
happening right now. Actually, I bought this.
We're catching you in menopause. All right, perfect.
I bought this Holy Grail. I don't want to say it and jinx myself because it's in the mail. I'll make a video about it and then like cry in my
Mm.
video, right? But it was like something I've been looking for like 10, 13 years. And finally
Wow.
was not cheap. Actually, it was in Den Bosch, and I missed it by a couple minutes.
All right, now hang on a second. Can we have one guess each? If you give us one hint, give us a hint, and we'll each take a guess. And if we can't get it, we'll just keep it secret.
Late 60s psychedelic.
Oh, late 60s. I mean, that could be so many things. It could be it could be 13th Floor. It could be Gandalf. It could be, I don't know, Brandon. I'll give you the first guess. I don't want to, I want to take yours.
I honestly have no clue. Just late 60s psych.
It could be so many things, right?
I'll have to wait for your video.
All right, Arnaldo, you want to take a stab at this one?
The only one record that comes to mind that I think is really sought after, I know Jason already has it. The Zombies Odyssey. I know that's like, yeah.
Like, you make it sound like I have the trading card already. Yep, I have that.
So yeah, I can't think of anything else. So whatever it is, it's going to be a surprise.
I'm just gonna go with Gandalf. I already said it. Is it Gandalf? Oh, ooh. And here's why. Because I just saw Dusty Groove had it and I missed it. And I was like, I don't even know what they sold it for, but I was so curious what they ended up selling that for. So
I don't even know what Gandalf is. Can you guys I feel like, okay, what am I missing?
We need to call the bullpen for our psych experts on here. All I know is it's late 60s psych. I have a reissue and it's pretty interesting. But it's a highly collectible record. It's a cool yellow. It's a cool art. I mean, it's like everything you'd want. The sound, the look, it's everything that kind of hits those marks. And now it's collectible because I didn't make a lot of them. So it hits all the marks on from a collector lens that I would be willing to chase it without really like being a super fan. But that's just me.
So can you highlight Record Hound's comment?
Ooh, hang on.
Give him that guess.
Oh, he's got, so Record Hound says Nucleus, either the British or Canadian group.
No, but Record Hound, it is British. They're British.
Oh. All right. Well, you know what we're going to do?
They're not the zombies.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. If you're watching this, marinate on it. Like a nice steak marinade. And we'll come back to this one because I think you've wet the whistle of a lot of us.
If you guess it, and I'll give you the tiers of a UHQR. How about that?
All right, we've gone off the beaten path. Let's go back to the idea of so you said you're in the midst of your off season, in off season period. What does that even register to you, or is it just a matter of, hey, I just moved, kind of getting things in order? So it's not like every year and beginning of August I'm like this. It's just life has kind of other things in front of you as opposed to record collecting.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, like, I didn't go to the local record stores in Austin until 2 weeks ago. And when I went there, it was like overpriced by at least 15-20%, and like it broke my heart. Like, I was holding Fleetwood Mac Rumors for like $25, and that is the norm, right? But I'm still like, why?
Well, I saw a copy of that for $40 the other day.
No.
Yes.
Like a used copy?
A used copy.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we've been hearing for a while. Cheap. That's insane. We've been hearing for a while of the quote unquote bubble potentially bursting. I think it's things like that because that used to be a $3 record, a $7 record, a $12 record, even 18 months ago, maybe a $15 record. Like I have a friend who has a shop,
and it didn't even have the insert.
And what was it? Was it the textured cover? Was it any of the?
It was a textured cover.
Okay.
And the cover was in pretty good shape. It didn't have too much ring wear, but I looked inside and it didn't even have the insert.
Sadness. And from what I hear, that sold millions of copies.
Like 20 million, I think.
so the collectability is kind of so. Wow. I mean, and that's only really scaled the last 7 or 8 years. Because again, I can remember $7 all day, every day, anywhere you go. Brandon, you probably remember. Like we shop a lot of the same shops here locally. Like that was not a hard record to find. Now it's when it pops up, there's people who literally will call stores to hold it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, it was like barely 10, 12 years ago. I mean, you could go into a record store, you walked in with $100, you expected to come out with 40, 45 records.
Easy.
I mean, all day long.
So David Bianco's is in the gallery tonight. He had told us he was going to go see a movie, and then his words, his secretary got his travels wrong, but he said that 20 million is the rumor. And of course, he spelled it like rumor because David, right? Oh, that's funny.
On this show, we will not make any rumors whatsoever. We will not call any VC controversies.
Zero vinyl community controversy, and if it happens errantly, it's not our fault, not our intention. We are a peaceful.
Jose shows too many records, right? Maybe he owns too many records.
Well, it's funny you bring up Jose. Jose is joining us at some point, but
Sure.
Jason sent me a note right before we went live that I guess Jose has run into some issues. One of his Calyxes fall over on him. There's too many records. What happened to him?
Right.
So Jose will be popping in at some point, but anyway, well, my take on this one is that I don't have a set part of my year where I'm like, don't buy any records, and Brandon's heard this from me plenty of times about the vinyl diet.
Mm-hmm.
I really try to really be intentional and throttle what I'm bringing into my collection because I need to process. I need to sleeve, clean, all the rigmarole that comes with record collecting. But I also don't limit myself because if that whatever record I've been chasing or all these announcements get made, I don't want to, miss out on that stuff. So I don't have like a time every year, but kind of what you were saying, Brandon, like I do think that, and I'm very reluctant to use the word burnout, but I do feel something that's just like, I need to switch my focus. Either, I need to, get out more or like today is a perfect example. Cause I went out to lunch and I could have stopped by a local shop and normally I would have, but we have a record show locally coming out this weekend. So I'm like, I'm going to put all my energy into that. So normally it'd be a no brainer. I'd do both, but
I'm confused on what you said. Vinyl diet. Was it like, I'll buy the Eagles, right? But not that Eagles. I'll buy this Eagles, right? Is that your vinyl diet?
My vinyl diet, and this is the one that doesn't work, is I buy the one step and then I instantly regret it because it's tasty, but it's not $125 tasty. Some of them, I mean, to each your own. I would never advocate and tell people how to spend their money, but it's interesting. Side note, I saw that the what was it? The Cannonball. What was the one they just announced? The one step for pre-order.
Cannonball Adderley.
Cannonball Adderley. Yeah. And I got to be honest. I hate to say this. I could care less. I mean, honestly, like I'm sure it'll be nice, but I did not feel inspired to rush to the website and throw my. Did you guys? I mean, was there any? No. Yeah.
Well,
I was actually halfway excited. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
I was like shocked. I was like, "Wow, jazz, cool!" And then moved that email, moved it somewhere else. Cool.
Arnaldo, you were shaking your head too on that one. Like, no call to action. No, like, are you gonna pass on this one?
Yeah. I'm happy with my Blue Note Classic reissue. I'm happy with that.
Well, that raises a good point because, and we were talking a little bit off air about this, about top copy, right? At what point do you feel like there's top copy? Because it could be an original. And again, everybody collects different things for different reasons. But if you find one that you're just completely satisfied with, does that kind of put a wet blanket on looking elsewhere, having the wandering eye of, oh, they've put it at 45 RPM. Should I get that one? Or one step or whatever? How do you guys feel about that?
I think it all depends on how much you care about the record. Had it been a Smith's record that's coming out in UHQR, of course. I have like 5 copies of it, but I'll buy the UHQR or the one step.
What do you think, Brandon? Do you because as somebody who collects multiple copies, now I'm not trying to out you here, but I do the same thing. Do you ever feel like when it comes to a certain title that you feel like, okay, this is it for me? I've got a couple copies. I mean, it could be a different equation for different artists, different titles, like Arnaldo said. Does that come easy? And do you have you reached that point on certain titles?
Yeah, I mean, I think on a lot of things, if I have that copy where I really feel like, this is just fantastic, beautiful, whatever it is, and one step or something comes out, basically all it does for me is it completely takes away the pressure for me to feel like I have to go get that new whatever. So it kind of becomes a default, if there's nothing else that's really jumping out at me right now. And you have to keep in mind, I'm always talking from the standpoint of working at the record shop. I'm oftentimes dealing with credit,
Oh, sure.
and not just spending and ordering things. So that's what will end up happening. So like with that Adderley that you're talking about coming out, that's actually one that I was halfway excited about, because for the most part, I don't care that much about the one steps, but I'm like, that's a really cool title. And if Billy gets some of those in, and I've worked a couple of days, there's really nothing kind of coming through, no new collections, I'll grab it. But, I have a beautiful Japanese pressing of it. I think that sounds fantastic. I don't feel the need to have it. If I don't get it, only didn't get it because I got something else that was amazing.
Was that done in Music Matters as well?
I don't know.
I think like SRX, Classic Records, Chad King.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Oh, so Music Sanctuary says, I'm actually looking forward to getting MoFi Hotel California. It's an interesting point, because I personally have pre-ordered that one step. However, I have the original MoFi from like 84, whenever they did it. And I got to be honest, it was, for a time, I thought it was one of the best sounding records in my collection. So to that end, when I saw they were doing the one step, it was a couple things for me. When I saw they were doing the one step, I was mildly curious. It was also that they've been doing the full catalog as one steps, and I was already 2 or 3 in, right? So then that completionist thing kicks in, because I'm like, well, why stop?
Right.
But to what we were saying, I'm completely content. I think not to give away the store, but I think David Bianco is going to do a shootout when it comes out, and I've volunteered my other copy, so you can, do what he needs to do on that piece. But interesting. Oh, Wyoming Dave, I have the original Cannonball Adderley on Blue Note. Well, good for you, pal. That's good. How's it sound? Tell us how it sounds. Music in the house. Good evening, gentlemen. I'm with you, Arnaldo. I'd go in on a favorite album, but not just to be a completist on a particular audiophile series. Dig it. All right, let's go to topic number 2. Topic number 2 is there a genre, and this is kind of a common theme of what we're kind of talking about here. Is there a genre you are quote unquote done collecting? You have what you need, you have what you are content with. So Arnaldo, let's start with you, and I say this because personally, and we'll circle back to this, I've talked about this several times all over the place. Like, I feel I'm pretty good on jazz. Like, I'm still adding some jazz pieces, but I feel like I've got what I need personally for the most part. I'm not going to walk away from it if, certain things. I know the Lee Morgan Blue Note Classics came out today. I'll probably pick that one up. But is there a genre that you feel that you're pretty good, and you're not going to really, when you go to the record store, look for it anymore?
I'm just starting on jazz, so I still have a few more titles that I think are essential part of the 100 list. But I would say maybe country is one genre that I don't have much, and I think I'm good in it,
And if I can push further, what's good? Do you feel, and I'm just throwing names out there, you've got the Willie Nelson you need, you've got the Dolly you need. Is it something as simple as that? Or
actually, I want to get that Stardust, the Willie Nelson Stardust.
Okay.
That one I need to get. And I'm waiting to pull the trigger on Coat of Many Colors, if I could ever rack up 8 titles from Vinyl Me Please, so I can place the order.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. I've got
them up, and it's like, okay, I'm only at 6.
It's heartbreaking. It's funny you bring that up, and I know we've talked a little bit about this offline, but I've been waiting to cash in that chip of the 8 free quote unquote titles, and I'm like you, I can't fill out enough titles.
Right, because most of the titles are the previous records of the month.
Right.
And
So
like, a lot of the ones that I want, I have already. So it's kind of hard for me. Yeah, and I think Folsom Prison is another one that I keep adding to the cart.
okay.
So it's like, I think if I don't be pleased, is going to like fill out my country section.
I'm with you. They do a nice job for what they do, especially like what they've been curating. Now I know they had that Dolly Parton vinyl me Parton.
Yeah. Well, I'm not part of the club, but I did pre-order the Rockstar, the new album that's coming out.
Oh, sure.
The Vinyl Me Please version.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I'm curious just to hear that.
I was tempted because they do have some that they're holding back that it's only part of that. But I noticed, I guess, when the series first premiered, whatever extra inventory, they magically threw it out to members and it got gobbled up real quick. So it's been interesting how they run that. But anywho, Jason Arsenal, this is a good one. Not done collecting 80s action movie soundtracks. Never.
Yeah.
Never surrender. How about that? Never surrender. See what I did there? Jason, what would you say? I mean, you have a very wide and diverse palette of musical interests and tastes. Is there like a genre that I'm good. I don't really seek it out. If it's something I'm at a show or whatever and something pops up, I'll pop on it, but intentionally you're not seeking it out.
I have many copies of this record. I need to stop buying this record. Hang
on. Can you tell us what this record is, Jason?
This is Heart of the Congos. I think this is the last Lee Scratch Perry. I could be wrong. Like production 77. Now, I buy many copies of this. Is everyone watching me? Like, this is insane. No more.
Is it because you're searching for the perfect one?
Yes. And I've come to the realization there is no perfect record. This record sounds like poop. Okay? I love this record, but forget it. Forget it.
So is it just title specific, or is there a genre that you're?
Yeah, it's probably just reggae dub thing. Like I'm not gonna find like a perfect like that, clear UHQR kind of thing. That's just not gonna happen with these. The pressing plants in Jamaica were sketchy at best.
Sure.
If you thought RTI, MoFis were bad, lip warp.
Count your blessings.
Right.
What would you? Side question for you. What do you do anything on Zamrock? Has that ever appealed to you?
No. That's already too much money. I already missed the boat on it.
Yeah, I'm same with you. Like we're just picking up like crumbs at this point. I think the people who got them, and they're not going to come up. Brandon, what would you say? Is there such a large and diverse collection yourself? Is there a genre that you feel you're good on? Soundtracks? I don't know. Humor me.
Yeah, with most genres, I'm kind of just in that opportunistic mode. But I think the one that would fit this question would be the whole dance, techno, house type of stuff. There are just so few albums that I really that fit into that category for me that I like in the first place. And I feel like the two that I really want, I have kind of thing. So that's one that I put zero effort into looking for anything in that category.
Brandon, what do you have against glow sticks?
They make me twitch. I don't know. Something about that repetitive electric. It's just like I can understand a lot of things. I should say understand. I can take in and appreciate a lot of things in music coming from a lot of different places.
Sure.
Something about that is just like, unless you have ecstasy, how does this work? Like, I don't get this.
Please do not mail ecstasy to Brandon. We don't need to start anything here. Thank you very much.
But then the funny thing is like that LCD system, that 4533. I don't know if you're familiar with that album or not, but it's kind of a lot of that same stuff, that repetitive. Yeah. I freaking love that album, and I cannot figure out why for the life of me. But I can listen to that thing all day long. But in general, that techno house stuff, just like, ugh.
I mean, I share a similar sentiment. I like Skrillex, believe it or not. I like early Skrillex stuff, but I've been to festivals and I've witnessed what goes on with SDS9 and some of that kind of stuff, and I've never felt older in watching one of those performances and seeing dancing glow stick Optimus Prime and people in dinosaur suits, and I just can't do it.
I
We got a question for you, Brandon, from the gallery. This is Michael Tedder, also another local here. How many copies of that Danzig 1 do you have, Brandon?
I just have the one promo copy.
Look at that.
That's all I need.
Big flex. Look, Music in the House says never say never, but I'm pretty full up on Chinese opera and smooth jazz. I don't have any. That's probably pretty smart. Another question for the gallery for Arnaldo this time. Do you have the Flying Burrito Brothers debut Gilded Palace of Sin? I do. It's a must have Cosmic American Music Classic.
I actually already responded in the gallery.
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't even gotten
okay.
that far. Oh,
yeah,
no.
but I mean, I'll address it here also. Yes, it's on my list for the intervention version.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's currently in stock. Right now, it was out of stock, and I was waiting for it to come back. So, yeah. That one, I think they have both. They have the Gilded Palace of Sin, and then they have Burrito Supreme.
Deluxe.
Deluxe. Sorry.
Close enough.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Well, good stuff. Well, we've gone through the topics, guys. Why don't we we'll just go around the horn and just talk about what are some real sweet things that you've added to your collection? Let's call it, I don't know, the last 2 weeks. Let's kind of keep it short and sweet. Brandon, what kind of burners, what's something that you're just so happy you've added to your collection the last couple of weeks?
Biggest thing in the last couple of weeks is definitely a OG copy of Danzig 4.
Oh, and where'd you find that?
I actually did a trade with a guy that comes into the shop. You know, we've kind of become friends over the past few months, and yeah, he's come over and hung out a couple of times, and it's just one that he had that he wasn't that big on. He knew exactly what it was.
Okay.
He was like, yeah, I don't mind getting rid of this, and we kind of worked out a nice little swap and got a beautiful Danzig 4.
Did you trade that Audio Slave record you tried trading me?
No, it's still there.
Still available for trade if anyone is interested.
That's one that's about to go on the market too. I mean,
you're gonna unload it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful sealed copy, and OG Audio Slave Revelations, and I don't care about it enough. I think someone who really, really digs that would love to have like I said, an OG sealed copy of it. So I'm gonna put it out there into the vinyl universe and kind of see what it throws back at me.
I'm with you. Jason, you went offline briefly. Have you found something outside of this mysterious grail that will reveal itself further down the road? You said you waited to go to the record stores in Austin, like I'm assuming Breakaway and End of an Ear and those guys.
I didn't go to the end of the year yet.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
So maybe this weekend, December. But I went to Breakaway. I only bought one record. You want to see that record?
Yes. Come on.
I'll give you a second.
The way he's looking at it, he wants to show it.
Oh, he does.
One record, I didn't even find it. Like my friend found it, and then he was like, "I'm not going to buy this." I was like, "What?"
Oof. Wow. And you didn't have to do like a Jedi mind trick and be like, "You do not want this record."
You do not want this.
He was like holding it. He's like, "Nah, I'm not going to buy this." I'm just like, "Dude, you got to give that to me, bro."
Oh, that's funny. Oh, Breakfast King, what's up? Yeah. Show it. Arnaldo, you also went dark there. Did you go pull something that you're excited?
Yeah, like over the weekend, I almost passed out, and I was doing because
almost passed out from record shopping?
It was when I wasn't in a record store, just walking from one to the other.
Oh,
it was like brutally hot. It was ridiculous. So yeah, the heat does not do well because I was seeking reprieve and air conditioning, and I was staying longer in the record store. So that actually only adds to the purchase. But yeah, I found a couple of old things. Are we showing old or new?
Whatever you want to show us, whatever you want to talk about.
All right.
Actually,
everybody's going to their corners on this one.
Okay, so
and listen, don't show it all because we'll talk about it at the freestyle part. But why don't you show us the one the few that you're like super like excited about?
Oh wait, hold on, I didn't pull it out, but let's see. See this Chic's Risque.
Oh yeah, I got a copy of that. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Goody.
Oh, that's a real clean
Classic. That's a classic.
Wow. Yep.
Love that album.
And the reason why is I have a sealed copy and I can't bring myself to open it.
Well, we'll come back to that because before we end the podcast part of this, I had one more thing I wanted to throw at you guys, but that's a great tease to it.
This also was missing. I caught the Wham fever, so
Okay.
this is one I didn't have.
Is that self-titled? Help me out with that one.
No, this is the last one. This is called Music from the Edge of Heaven.
Gotcha. Because that reissue they just did has the same color palette as that cover,
Yes,
right?
but it's the singles. That one's called the singles.
And wasn't it missing one of their big hits? The one that just got reissued.
Oh, that I don't know. I think that's a double. I don't know what it could be.
It's a double album with the greatest hits, basically a greatest hits.
But I thought I heard in passing that it was missing. I don't want to say one of their big hits. Not like Last Christmas. Anyway, I don't want to start any rumors, but
Careless Whisper. It can't be missing Careless Whisper.
No, I think that was on there.
Okay.
I skimmed through it one time, but I don't remember every single track.
I think I read something. Like I said, again, I'm just talking out of both sides here, but I thought I had read something in passing, like, why would they do a Wham's greatest hits when it doesn't include X? And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's definitely not a call to action to buy something if it's missing one of their seminal hits. Oh yeah, so Jeffrey Beaumont, it's missing Careless Whisper.
Oh,
come on, how can you? I mean,
well, I think I know why.
Okay,
if it's a non-US initiated release outside of the US, that came out as George Michael. Only in the US it came out as Wham.
It's interesting you bring that up, Ronaldo, because I watched that documentary, and Andrew Ridgeley has to be like a super nice guy or just knew where his bread was buttered, because some of especially when they came to the States, some of their singles originally said George Michael of Wham X song, like even on like the 45s, like very early on, like he was trying to like cross brand himself, which I was very interested, because you would think that Andrew Ridgeley would be pretty ticked off.
Right.
And so early on, but he was very, throughout the documentary, it was a very common repetitive theme that he knew that George Michael was very talented, and he knew that he was going to be the super duper star and all that stuff. And
it's because I think they wanted to elevate the profile of Wham in the United States, that it was marketed as Wham featuring George Michael. I mean, it went to benefit Andrew Ridgeley anyway, because
of course,
he's the co-writer he only co-wrote a handful of songs, and that is one of them. So,
time to tour. It's time for him to tour. Wham featuring Andrew Ridley. Time to make that money.
All right, Jason. So you went dark and you came back. So give the people what they want.
But one record at Breakaway. If you're familiar with this record, this is the band Felt from the UK. Very 80s, like new wavy. Well, no, I wouldn't say new wavy. Very like, this would be like the UK version of Tom Petty in a way.
Really?
Very jangly. It's a pretty cool cover. It's that one guy. I think he passed away 2 years ago. I think this is the keyboard player, but again, very Birdsy, jangly, Tom Petty-ish. Very monotone vocals if you're into that. I mean, kind of like a Velvet Underground, but a little bit more funkier in a way.
Okay, nice. Had you ever seen this in the wild before?
No.
Oh, shout out to Breakaway, bringing that heat.
Yeah, so it was very special, but I mean, I almost didn't get it. I mean, my friend could have like gotten it, and then I would have cried in the middle of the cried at this guy's tears, just like,
oh no, that's funny. Good stuff. Well, leave it to David Bianco. He's got to go. He said Wham minus the dead guy. Well, that's pretty good branding. I don't know how many tickets they'd sell. I mean, call me crazy, but I don't know if that would really go that far.
Wham featuring Andrew Ridley, and then like he's singing, but then there's another guy who's singing too.
Listen, they got the holograms. They could just have the George Michael hologram. He could go through the different eras of George Michael, like where he had the sunglasses and the leather jacket and the jeans, or when he was larger George Michael. All that. I mean, it could. Anyway, I'm giving people ideas they probably don't need, but what do I know? Well, so it's funny you guys hit on something that I hadn't thought of, but it's something that I think is on the minds of many record collectors. To seal or to unseal That is the question. So where do you guys land on this? And I say that from my point of view, in that I'm starting to pack up my records, we're moving, and I've been in this year-long process, which I'll blame Brandon for partially, of really putting my records in the best possible state with good sleeves, cleaning them, even new records, really trying to get my stuff tip-top shape. But I've been waiting to move so I could really get my stuff organized better, right? So here we are. And there's nothing. But all that leads me to, I have a lot of records that were sealed that I'm unsealing because I want to clean them and I want to listen to them, and I want to be happy that I have the Pearl Jam Rare 10 like record or whatever it is, right? I think I had was it Backspace or Lightning Bolt. I forgot I had the Lightning Bolt Red, right? I mean, so those things are exciting. So where do you guys fall on to seal or not to seal? Brandon, we'll start with you.
Well, like someone asked me just the other day, like how many sealed albums I have in my collection. So I went in my database and pulled it up, and it's about 386 of my albums are sealed.
So,
right.
So let's do the math on. So percent the total. I'm going to talk about my day job. Percent the total, Brandon. Would you say that that's less than like 1% of your collection, 5% of your collection?
Yeah, I mean, I have about 4,800 LPs, and so 300, let's just say 400 of those are sealed. So, what, just under 10% or something like that?
Sure.
But yeah, like the thing for me is, even if an album is sealed, it's not something where I feel like it's sealed for the rest of its life as long as I have it. That there's just no rule in my mind that the moment I bring an album into my collection or into my house, it has to be open right now and played. It's like, again, I just go to that whole, I think I've been collecting long enough. I think I'm in touch with my listening habits and everything to the point to where I'm just going to go with my gut. And if this album's been sealed for 7 years and on this given day, I really want to spin the vinyl. I don't want to listen to the CD. I don't want to play the cassette. I'll go open it. Like there's no time frame on that stuff for me.
Do you have any that you'll just you'll just keep it sealed indefinitely just for whatever reason? Do you have some that are just like, no way?
There's some like the like that anniversary edition of like a couple of Slipknot albums, like some OG pressings that I have. I think the reissues sound fantastic, so I wouldn't see a need to go open those. That Audio Slave Revelations, like we were talking about before.
Sure.
Yes, it's an okay album, but at the same time, something like that's sealed, mint condition, I see absolutely no reason to open that. So there's probably a few here and there, but at the same time, I could wake up any given day and just say, I want to play that today. And there's no hesitation with me opening it, putting it in the cleaner, and then spinning it.
All right, Jason, I see you nodding in approval. Where do you fall on this one?
If it's a third man pressing, you must open this. You must check this, whether it's pressed by Jack White or poorly pressed by Jack White.
Now, what are you holding up there, Jason? Let's make sure we out this one.
This is Pharoah Sanders, Black Unity.
Okay.
This came out, 3 weeks ago? Mine is warped. It is warped like the Rachel Ghost show, okay? Just be honest here. Thankfully, I ordered it on Amazon, so I will return this and just get another copy until I'm satisfied.
I will say that is, I wouldn't say the luxury, but at least that's the comfort as a consumer that, yes, you can keep sending that back with Amazon until they do it right. And if they don't get it right, you can figure it out.
So, I mean, just look at Pharoah here. He's like wondering why the third man pressing is warped. Why? Jack White, why?
Why are you doing this to my music?
Why?
But topic at hand, Jason, what do you feel about sealed records generally speaking? Do you have sealed records in your collection on purpose, or something you just haven't gotten to, or what?
Yeah, it's probably something I just haven't gotten to, but usually I open it, listen to it, enjoy it. If I don't like it, then just goes to the trade or sell pile,
Mm-hmm. Poor Pharaoh. He does look sad. He does like, how could you do this to me?
He's like wondering too, like, where's Jose?
Yeah. Listen, if Jose comes in at the end of this program and he's walking the streets of Guadalajara or where in the hell he's at, and he takes
by
it to
the wild
7-Eleven
dog.
again. Yeah, a random dog. He's telling us stories about a random dog. Like, connection may be dropped. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it again. All right, Arnaldo to seal.
Well, we did a poll last time, right? Remember with my Saturday Night Fever?
Well, that was a record, but generally, holistically, where do you stand on that? I mean, case by case, of course, but
I started to unseal records that I had sealed for 10 years because I bought the vinyl. I said, I have the CD. I can stream it. I know this album already. What's the point in opening it? So records are meant to be enjoyed unless you're buying it as a collectible.
Sure.
Like my alternate covers of Lana Del Rey. They're sealed. I have the record. I opened one copy and I'm going to play that one. But the others are just for collectible purposes. So those all keep sealed. And the only thing that changes really is maybe the color of the vinyl and the cover.
Sure.
But when it comes to older records, like I said, I had that Chic that was still sealed because it's a pretty common record. You find it. Mm-hmm. And I figured, when am I going to find another sealed copy? Really hard to find another sealed copy. So I'll eventually get a copy that is open, that is in good shape, that I can play. And you guys convinced me last time to keep the record, the Saturday Night Fever. Although just today I was thinking about it. It was like, I think there's a certain satisfaction in opening a 30-plus-year-old record that no one has ever played. And it's back to 1977 as if you just purchased it. Because the majority of those copies, especially Saturday Night Fever, have been played and overplayed and are really hard to find a mint copy unless it's sealed. Now, it's kind of like a bottle of fine wine, right? Mm. How long can you keep it in your wine cellar, right, and not want to enjoy it?
Patrick, the vinyl archivist.
You're liberating.
I knew you'd come. He says you are liberating him from the prison of shrink wrap. No, but Michael Tedder's got a good question here. He says, would you ever buy an album simply because it's sealed, though? I know my answer. Yes.
I think about a month ago, I came across a very inexpensive copy of Beggar's Banquet, the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
It's a U.S. pressing. It was sealed. And I figured, you know what? I'm just going to open this because I want to enjoy it. I actually want to listen to how it sounded, the original U.S. pressing, because most of the other ones that you come across are always beat up. So yeah, that's one that I didn't hesitate, and I opened it because I actually wanted to enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I keep kind of repeating myself, but it is just, with these subjects, it's like the thing that really sticks out to me. Like my whole concept is whatever anyone does with a record is the right thing to do, because your collection should be your collection. And to me, it just boils down to, when I have this album, when I grab this album, when I find this album in the store, if I have it in my collection, what is the way that I'm going to get the most enjoyment out of owning this album? And sometimes that's playing it. Sometimes that might be putting it in something to display it on the wall. Sometimes that's having a sealed copy. But just really album by album, like, how am I going to get the most pleasure out of owning this thing? And I think that's one of the things that I see. I think that a lot of people that aren't collectors don't really understand about what we do.
Sure.
Because everyone just kind of thinks, you have a record, if you're not playing it, what's the point? But it's like, how often do you go to a stamp collector and go, why do you have those stamps in that book? If you're not putting it on a letter, what's the point of having a stamp? Like, no one says that. Or you got these baseball bats hanging on your wall. If you're not playing baseball with them, what's the point of having a baseball bat? Like, no one says that. They understand the collecting aspect and playing the sport and enjoying the sport. We're doing the same thing. Sometimes we put it on the wall. Sometimes we keep it nice and neat in its little sealed shrink wrap. then sometimes we play the hell out of it or drop it accidentally and scratch it and piss ourselves off because we did that not too long ago.
Going back to the famous words of the toy collector. You guys remember that? The show? Toy collector? Jordan, whatever his name was.
I don't remember.
He had a show that he would go and he's a toy dealer in New Jersey, and he would travel around the United States looking for either estates or people that were selling off their toy collection. And he always said, yeah, it's more valuable for me because I can resell it if it's a sealed toy that's never been played with. But he said toys are meant to be played with. What kid kept their toys sealed?
Steve Carell in the 40-year-old version. No,
I couldn't wait to open up those Star Wars action figures in 1978 or 77 because I wanted to play with them. So
yeah.
We're just grown children that are like obsessing over.
Speak for yourself, Arnaldo. All right, Jason, why don't you bring it home? Wyoming Dave has a question, and I'm gonna make you big for this one. It says, "Is Third Man pressing a newer reissue company?" Jason, what would you say to that question?
This is your answer. I think they've been pressing records since what, like the late 2000s, I think. Maybe early 2010s. I think it has to be like 2000s at least. It's just Jack White's label. That's all. He presses. I think it started as like a vanity label, but then he started pressing other people's records, and then people started contacting him, like major labels, about pressing Adele records. And of course, he needs money, so he'll do it. You know. But I don't know if I would ever get him to press my record.
I will say I've heard, some of those Verve reissues they've been tasked with have not exactly been received well from a quality perspective from customers, but it's what you hear. It's what you hear.
Jason, was that pressed in at the Detroit plant or the one in Nashville?
It was pressed in hell.
What does the hype sticker say?
Detroit.
I think, I don't think, does Nashville press records?
He did have a plant there, but the Detroit one was supposed to be like the brand new state of the art where he invested all that money to start pressing records.
Wow.
Let's look at that answer.
The sad face of Pharaoh Sanders says it all. All right, gentlemen. Well, let's wrap up the podcast portion of this presentation of Surface Noise. We do this every other Thursday, so if you have a calendar, I would be remiss. Have something to share. Hang on one second. So if you enjoy Vinyl Storage Solutions sleeves, Vinyl Storage Solutions is very, very nice and has offered listeners and watchers of this presentation a 10% off code anytime you want to purchase products from them, be it outer sleeves, inner sleeves, brushes, whatever. I mean, they make all kinds of stuff. And it looks like I'm a salesman, but I'm not really. I just want to share this with the listeners. You can use either the code VCP10, Vinyl Community Podcast 10, or my name, Concert Buddy, BUDDIE. Now, I will tell you as a customer, I do tend to wait for the larger sales, but sometimes you get in a pinch and you need to get some product. And so these codes are good anytime. I probably would have done the service better if I would have said this at the beginning, but I'm new at this. So, anywho. Brought to you by. But no, listen, in all seriousness, like, I like the products. I really enjoy the company. If you guys can save some money on this, if you're listening or watching this, knock yourself out. Anyway, that'll wrap it up for this edition of Surface Noise. Thank our panelists. Brandon, pinch hitting for us this week. Brandon, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Arnaldo. Actually, you know what, guys? Did you notice this earlier? We're all wearing black shirts. We must be really, really in tune, in alignment. Look at us. Look at us. These are some handsome devils. Arnaldo. Fidelius_frequency. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Chance.
And Jason, sweating in the heart of Texas.
What's that promo code again, Chance?
Pharaoh Sanders really wants to know what that promo code is. Thanks for joining us again, Jason. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Chance.
Sweet. All right, let's freestyle, guys. So, all right, back to new pickups. I couldn't show this earlier because I was too busy running point, but I actually added something that I'd been looking for a hot minute, and this is the UK only. And I usually don't do picture discs, but I did this picture disc. This is 10 as a, wait for it. Hang on. Oh, I got to open this because the way I've stored this. Hang on. Hold, please. Hold, please. So professional. But look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It's a basketball. What's up?
Oh, man.
Wow. But sadly,
It has degassing on it.
sadly, oh yeah, the PVC
Oh,
sleeve,
man.
and yeah, I mean it's it is what it is. It's definitely a novelty, a vanity purchase, but I'm in this mode where I'm trying to be a completist with Pearl Jam stuff, so it was inevitable that I had to pick that one up, and I got a decent price. So I knew going in, I'm not buying it for sound quality, I'm buying it for vanity, and there it is. So let's go around the horn. Arnaldo, I cut you off earlier. What other kind of stuff you picked up
I wanted
recently?
to ask you, how completist are you? Do you also do the side projects of Pearl Jam?
I have been. I'm not as ambitious on those. Like they just did a Brad reissue that I could have got through 10 Club that I wasn't. Hey, David, that I wasn't exactly excited about. I do have Painted Shield. That's a side project they done. I do have the Eddie solo records because I actually like the records. But,
I want to say about 7. It was one of the earlier record store day. I think two of the member. I have the 45. They did a 45. I even forgot the name of the project. Do you recall which one it was?
for record store day. You're not thinking of Mad Season, are you?
No.
No, no, I can't place that one.
I'll tell you when I find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have been burned. I will tell you this. I've been burned by Pearl Jam and these record store day releases because the past 2 years they've released something record store day, and I didn't go back and look at the verbiage because the verbiage, it doesn't even mean anything at this point. But I bought the record store day title, and wouldn't you know that Monday, Saturday is record store day. That Monday, 10 Club has an exclusive color variant that, of course, Brandon's nodding his head. He knows, of course, got me on the poll. So
They know what they're doing.
they know what they're doing. Yeah.
Reel them in.
Yeah.
Last time I saw a mount like that, it had a hook in it. You know?
Patrick, I do not. So I'm not a big 45 collector. So that's why I don't really. And I'm so late to the PJ singles they do through 10 Club. There was a seller on eBay recently that was selling them all. He or she had collected them all. But I was actually exercising fiscal restraint. And once it got over like $400, it just didn't make sense to me. I mean, this is over 50 singles. I mean, it was, I had my number, it went above my number, and I respectfully bid adieu. But I have all the studio albums. I've got a lot of the variants of those. I've got the Pearl Jam box that they made just for 10 Club. I actually went and hunted that down. So it is a sickness, as Brandon informs me all the time.
Do you know how much those singles went for? What was the final selling price?
He went close to 500, which again is like 50 plus. I mean, because they would have the Christmas single, they'd have these one-offs. They had, they would do the ones from the album. So respect for whoever had been collecting those from the jump, and it was a nice way to play catch up. But I just was not inspired to spend $5 on it. So I'm a completist up to a point, Arnaldo, to kind of answer your question, but I would not go there. Now, hang on a second. Patrick, again, is the record store day Macho Man does Pearl Jam 10 picture disc? Yes. Macho Man actually is on the B side, on the back side of that one. And so I'm sorry, Arnaldo. So I cut you out for earlier. What other kind of cool stuff have you added here lately?
In the same run,
Yeah.
I got.
What else did I get?
Oh, hang on, hold please. Let me make you big.
It's cutie Mark Bolan.
It's interesting. I've never. Is it a cover variant? What is that?
No, this is the official cover. This is
Alloy, right?
I've
yeah,
never seen
Zinc
that.
Alloy. It's a very long title, and the Hidden Riders of Tomorrow, A Creamed Cage in August.
He could have a YouTube channel like me.
I know, right?
Long name.
And I couldn't resist because it's a UK copy, and it was like in edition. So Yeah, and then the store that I went to actually allows you to preview, and I had picked it out because I think I'm interested in this one. And then when I played it, I was actually very pleasantly surprised because I actually was enjoying the music. So, yeah. And
Can you
then
show that back cover for everyone? It's hot. Woo!
Is that a pair of like pruning shears? What's or a shoe? What is in their hand?
I think those are high heel shoes, right, Jason?
Okay.
Yeah.
What, Jason?
You can go to Jason. Jason's actually
Well, he's more familiar. No, I think he's more familiar with this album than I am.
Oh, yeah, sure. Nice recovery.
stilettos.
I'm familiar with the front cover, but yeah, I never looked at the rear. Jason, you have this album, right?
He escaped
No, I
Minnesota.
don't.
Oh, you don't?
No, but the stilettos he's got.
Yeah, stilettos. You got 'em. Two colors.
So this is also a barometer of album prices. This was like only $10, and
Yeah.
Walter claims he had a copy. We did no longer find it, so it was in great condition.
Is Madonna up in New York not very easy to find?
No, but they're usually beat up, and they're like a copy in this condition would probably be $20. So that was good, and I found a very minty copy of
Oh,
Nice.
do you have the sticker that originally came on those?
I think the US didn't have a sticker. It has a like a card on that was in the front. I think only I don't know. I don't have a UK version, but I think the US version came with the card, like a
There you go. Okay.
and it was in the front here like that.
Yeah, right.
And I know, actually, I have at home in Italy. It was like a see-through. It wasn't even a sticker. It was like a plastic see-through with the writing on it. I think that's how it came out in Europe.
Arnaldo, we're taking bids. Novice Nick has put $3 if you're.
And then last but not least, again, I had an RSD version that I never opened. So
No.
Nice.
Legalize it.
Yep, legalize it. Don't criticize it.
That's a good album.
yeah, this actually I bought it at that new store that opened in Brooklyn. Billy's Salon.
Oh yeah,
The guy that's on Rachel's show?
Yeah, Billy's Record Salon. I got this, and at Superior
Did you get
Elevation.
your haircut there too, or? Okay.
Oh, there's one more thing. Yeah, hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, of course.
Someone else can.
I'm getting some questions about it. I'm getting a lot of Pearl Jam questions. It's interesting. Hang on, I got to wade through these. Oh, Joe Marino. Chance says Eddie Vedder's 36G bra. That's how completed he is. Actually, it's 38D, actually, to be very clear on that one. Jason Arsenal, I support all Pearl Jam purchases. Thank you. I know some people don't like Pearl Jam, which is fine, but it's very, like, the people who don't like Pearl Jam don't like Pearl Jam, and they let you know about it. I do know, Malaya was here. Hang on, Malaya. Yeah, so here's the sickness. So, yes, Eddie Vedder does like baseball, and he grew up in Chicago for part of a time. He's a Cubs fan.
Yep.
They did Third Man. Sorry, Jason. I don't want to trigger you. Third Man made a 45 that had a song he did for the Cubs called "Go All the Way," which is very funny. Before they won the World Series, like when I would hear it, I'd laugh because it was just like,
well, being a Cardinals fan, you
right?
laugh anyway.
Because I went to the Pearl Jam show at the Wrigley. Was that 2013? And they sang the song, and I never heard it before, and I just thought it was cute because I'm like, oh, that's cute. Cubs fans think they're going to win, and then 3 years later they won. But it was a giveaway at one particular Cubs game. And of course, there were the people, the Turnstile Warriors, who were going in, getting it, coming out, giving it to a friend, going in, getting another one, etc.
Oh my God!
So I did have to pay up on that one, but it's pretty nice. It's like a split. It's like red on one side, blue like on the same side. So it sounds pretty good. But anyway, the sickness, Brandon, the sickness. All right, Arnaldo, you're back.
Yeah, and Billy was kind enough to gift me this. Does anyone know this record?
Yeah, so I believe they're British. That guy used
They
to
are.
play in a band called Marmalade.
British Glam, he said. He said I would really like it. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it was a gift, so it was very nice of him.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I've been wanting to get this record, and I never found a decent copy of it. So
the cover, it's like a pseudo velvet, right?
yeah, it's it's like a felty velvet.
Right. And that's hard to get. I mean, in it's solid condition because, like you were saying earlier, it's usually beat to hell.
Yeah.
Can you open the gatefold again?
We have a gatefold opening request, Arnaldo. Thank you for looking first.
I know, right? I wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything else.
Right. I didn't want to say like a chocolate butthole or something weird on there. Yeah.
Am I looking for anything, Jason?
No, take that vinyl community baby. We don't want this anymore.
They're throwing the baby. Are they tossing the baby? Yeah, they're tossing it from one boat to another. Is that what the case is here?
Looks like it.
It's like that video I showed last time where Hulk Hogan was on the motorcycle and they threw the dog in the canal.
And look, it also came.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, coast.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And the vinyl is in great condition, actually. And you can't go wrong for $6, right?
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
It's a nice price.
Was that also at Billy's salon?
No, that was at Superior Elevation, which is a store that Billy recommended. He was like, because I asked him, like, what else is around here? Because I wasn't familiar with that area of Brooklyn. And he's like, yeah, Superior Elevation is right around the corner. And I spent like almost an hour and a half in that store. Because usually that's what happens when I go to a store that I have never been to. If I don't flip through every single record, I won't leave. So, yeah. So that was at Superior Elevation. And they actually had pretty fair prices.
Let me ask you this question. So if I was coming to town and I only had time to go to one store and you could go with me or you couldn't, what would be the one store that someone who generally likes used records, hard to find used records, where would you send me?
You take him to that store where that guy, remember, he was like very upset when you
The Tracy Chapman guy. I don't want to call.
Oh no, we're not going to Ergot. We'll go to Human Head probably.
Okay.
Which is in Brooklyn, and I really like the Superior Elevation, but it depends because then from Superior Elevation, she had the girl who runs the shop said, yeah, there's Face that's down the street, and I looked it up. He's like, oh, best collection of Japanese. So I go there. The guy has tons of Japanese pressings.
Got my attention. You got my attention.
Brandon's ears went like the Keebler elf. It is.
I mean, there was like, yeah, I don't know what kind of genre you're looking for, but he had a lot of rock.
Wow.
And I saw totally like it wasn't a Japanese pressing, and I was very surprised afterwards because I walk in and it's on the wall, and then I see other stuff in Obi's, and then as I'm flipping through, almost everything is a Japanese pressing. Like 95% of the store is Japanese pressings, and there were only a few that were not Japanese pressings. And on the wall was an original copy of the Strokes' first album, the UK cover.
Oh, with the side cover,
the
or whatever?
Side cover of the Naked Lady.
Mm-hmm.
First time I've ever seen it, like in person, and it was sealed.
Ooh,
and it was $220 sealed.
Like most naked sealed ladies are.
So yeah, he had a few other things, but I want to say like 90 to 95% of the store was all
Really?
Japanese pressing. And the only thing I was really looking forward to getting a Japanese pressing of was Rishi Sakamoto. This album he made called Beauty. And I would love to have a Japanese pressing because I'm not sure. I know the Japanese pressing of the CD was different than the European and rest of the world issue. So I was actually curious to know if also the vinyl version had additional songs on it. So, but he didn't have that one. He had a few other Sakamoto records, and he had Yellow Magic Orchestra and tons of other stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, both Japanese music and Western world music. Let's call it Western world.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't give our late added panelist David Bianco a proper welcome. Also, it looks like you got the memo about the uniform, so I appreciate you showing up in the uniform.
I've been wearing this all day, so I swear.
Hey, you guys are gonna laugh at me, but I'm really, outside of record collecting and my shoe collection, I'm actually really trying to make a conscious effort. Like Steve Jobs had it right. Like, why spend any time on trying to like spend any energy on picking your wardrobe? So I'm starting to wind some of my clothing down, and I'm just getting black t-shirts, and I'm two layers away from joining a cult, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, David, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
So your secretary got it wrong. The Shining is next week?
It's Monday night.
Oh, Monday. Okay.
We had all our plans were all set, and then my daughters made plans based on us not being here, and then we're here, and we didn't know they made plans. So we're like, what the heck's going on tonight?
David, is it possible that when you came through St. Louis last weekend and she met Concert Buddy, that it might have messed her internal calendar up? And
it did. It really messed her up when I showed her an older picture of you without a cap on.
Well, I'm used to that. My male model days are over, unfortunately, but. Yeah, but no. So David actually. So what were you doing? You were tell everybody.
We went to Branson for a couple of days, and then we went up to visit family up in Indiana. So it was kind of long but short trip in a way. But passed through St. Louis, found some nice records. Matter of fact, one of them I found was this. Seemed like somebody on this show talked about this Bee Gees 2 Years On album. Was it somebody on here? Maybe it was another show I was on. Oh,
don't confuse this show with other shows, David. This is the show. Thank you.
It is the show. And then I really felt like I needed this, of course.
Wow, I didn't even know that existed.
But I found a record at home that I had been looking for. And this was given to me by the group Chicago when I interviewed them. It's a special, where's the little taggy? There it is.
Wow.
Not for sale. And it has a booklet, poster and booklet in the back of it, which was not done pretty normally. So I've been looking for this forever. It was 1977 they gave that to me, actually. Yeah, so yeah, it was a good trip. I didn't get too many stores beyond St. Louis, actually. I got to a few, but I didn't find much, to be honest with you.
So before you reveal what show or what shop we met up at, Brandon, similar question to Arnaldo. Outside of Billy's, let's take Billy's off the table. Obviously, bias there. What would be the shop if somebody was coming through St. Louis that you would recommend? They only got time for one shop. What would you recommend them?
Well, I'd have to ask one question. Like,
sure.
Are they looking for jazz, R&B, or are they looking more for pop rock and everything else? Because if they were really big on jazz, I have to send them to Euclid.
Yes. Okay.
That collection is just insane. Even pop rock, I mean, Euclid is fantastic.
Sure.
If they were kind of just looking for everything else, maybe some good new arrivals and stuff like that, probably Planet Score.
And David, where did we meet up?
Planet Score.
Bingo. Yeah. I feel like Planet Score does a nice job because they have like everything, and it's well curated. And I like all the stores in town. We'll be very clear on that. We've talked about this, Brandon. Though, what's the name you have for vintage vinyl?
They need to change it to recent vinyl.
Because they don't seem to be getting a lot of used. It's basically evolved to basically new stock, some used stock. Like I don't know why, because they used to be like so thick with used stock that I don't know. Something's changed there.
I think one of the big things that they do that a lot of other stores don't is if they get a nice collection in with really good stuff, they go right to eBay and Discogs. Like they won't even put it on the floor or put it on the wall or give the locals a chance. So you'll go in there and you'll find nothing, but then you go look at their website on eBay or their store on eBay, and there's like all this amazing stuff on there. It kind of sucks actually.
Yeah. Brandon, you want to take this one? Patrick's asking, what's the one where nothing is in order and the owner is like a pack rat?
Oh my gosh, that's Record Exchange.
Record Exchange is what I would say is a crate digger's paradise. Actually, Jay Emerson, who produced Nelly's Records, who's a local producer, he was in there the other day for hours, just like going through the dead stock and anything and everything. So it's feast or famine. So I don't want to say anything negative because I do enjoy going there. And in fairness, his daughter's done a really nice job, like getting a lot of stuff out of there because it was dangerous for a minute there. There was so much stuff. Think about this. So at one time, the owner had, I think, 7 different shops locally. The market changes, vinyl changes, consolidate all that inventory and a warehouse, all that inventory into one location. It used to be an old public library. And I mean, there are mountains, and I'm not even exaggerating. Brandon, mountains of records stacked on top of each other. This all over the place. So when I was early in collecting, it was great because prices were great. You could get Billy Joel's Greatest Hits for $2. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But you had to be very careful because once you went through the bins, then you're like, oh, look at all this overstock. And if you moved something, like it could be a life or death proposition because if that stuff fell on you, like game over.
Can you clarify? Did they pay you $2?
Well, I say all that, and it is, you got to earn it. They have a room, and that's why I was telling you, David, about choosing it. They have a room upstairs that's got over 1,045,000. So if you're willing to pay the price and the time to go through that stuff, you can find some interesting pieces. But summertime's a little toasty in there. I'll just say that.
Indeed. and don't forget to mention, Chance. Remember, you have to be cautious when you find something in there because you're like, oh, this looks nice. And then you look closely and you start to realize it's been colored in with a black Sharpie to get rid of the white edges. And sometimes you'll put a record in a sleeve and all of a sudden, like, is my record crooked? No.
Hey, I want to show you something here. Make me big, Chance.
I got yes. Oh, yes, sir.
I just saw this in a store yesterday. Billy Joel's Greatest Hits.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go.
Put that donger picture away, David. We don't want to see that. Come on. Half price books. Oh no.
$99.99.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Nope. $99.99.
That is a crime against humanity. That is terrible.
Kind of like my camera. Hello, camera. Don't make me blurry anymore.
Yeah, Michael. Actually, I've run into Michael at Record Exchange. He said he just picked up Bad English for $8. There's. I mean, it's that warehouse is the secret sauce of that establishment at this point because they're pulling Tracy Chapman self-titled with hype stickers. Like you got to, and that's what I mean. If you follow them on socials, because the daughter is doing a really nice job of showing the new arrivals and that sort of thing. Because if you go there unannounced, it's hit or miss. But when it's targeted marketing, really, and she shows the flips, she does a real nice job at the flips. I mean, you're going to see things that have been out of circulation for a hot minute. So that is an unpaid advertisement for the Record Exchange. I'm just telling you, if you come through St. Louis.
Yeah.
Malia's been there too. Actually, Malia went there too. Yeah, that place is insane.
We're talking about new stuff. I almost got to tell you about. I was planning on showing you these tonight, and I kicked them under my desk and forgot. Remember when I told you?
Oh, your shoe. Yeah, yeah.
Is that a 45 or 33?
First of all, what shoe size do you wear, Brandon?
That's 13.
Okay.
Like a 13.
How cool is that, though? A little Sketcher.
Who makes those?
The Sketcher.
Does it salivate if you run real fast?
I didn't know that they. I have the David Bowie collection from Skechers. Oh, and I'm sorry, it's Vans. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of weird because they came in the mail today, and kind of going back to like to keep sealed or not. My first thing was I have to put these on the shelf in my music room. I can't wear these things.
Oh, I know. I was wondering what you're gonna do.
And so now I'm debating buying a second pair so I can keep one on the shelf and actually have one to wear.
Yeah, that would be novel.
One to keep and one to sleep, my friend. One to keep, one to sleep.
Like a cool little card and everything. I mean, it's just a nice little package with a box and everything. I was like, that's really cool. I don't want to wear these things now.
It's very interesting that the branding that's going on. Metallica, I think, did the crossover with Vans. Like, it's very interesting because that started. Actually, I don't think Nike started. All that kind of cross promotion stuff started in the last 10 to 15 years, and now they're in our business. The business with these things,
Yeah.
because you're going to get a second pair. They got you, Brandon.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh, Jason, anything else that you've added since last time we saw you?
If you're ready for UHQR tiers,
All right, here we go. Yeah,
here we
Show
go.
us.
Here we go. Here we go. If you're ready, you want to.
Hang on, I need to be seated. I've got to put my seatbelt on because I don't want to fall out of my chair here, Jason. All right, we're ready.
I'm very interested what David thinks about this. David asked me so many questions of like he and I were like messaging, and then David is like kind of like, man, he's making me listen to it one more time. I will do this for David, and then I listen to it one more time, and I'm like, my opinion does not change. Yeah. Like, I feel like this guy selling pretzels. That's how I feel.
But you're using pretzel logic there. So.
Oh man, 15 cents. Look at that price. Woo!
So is it a regrettable purchase, Jason? Tell us.
No, not for me. I'm a big Steely Dan fan. I like the fact that he is doing this. That's cool. Like, I wouldn't. I think Fremer gave it a 7 for sound. I wouldn't do that. I think it would be for me 8 for effort.
Yeah, that's exactly what somebody wants to hear. The participation trophy of 100 purchase.
Like, because I compared it, and like there was just like that top end that was just kind of missing on it, and not to say that's a bad thing. Like, and David and I talked about this. It's kind of like if you get older, you're gonna lose that kind of higher frequency and stuff. Makes sense. Like, you would try to pump up maybe the mid range or something. But I heard like a lot of excuses. Like,
I'm doing a shootout against 4 other versions.
Whoa.
Is one of them the quad pretzel that Patrick's
One's
calling
the
out
quad
here?
pretzel, one's a USOG first press, one's the $30 digital. It just came out.
And David, when can we expect this to show up on your channel, Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion?
Probably tomorrow night.
Woof.
I hope.
Friday night. Look out.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you already done the shootout?
I have listened to, the only one I haven't listened to is the digital because it's showing up tomorrow morning.
Okay.
But I've done the other 3.
Okay. Interesting.
And I've talked to Chad.
Oh, we got to wait for the video, don't we?
Yes, you do.
Oh my God! Wow, what a true radio guy at heart, a true professional.
But see, I told you I talked to Chad, so I've already given you a scoop.
Did Chad reveal additional information?
Did Chad put me on
after he
his
stopped crying? No. There's a method to madness. That's all I can say. I think I had a theory about some things related to this album, and I think some of them have borne out. So I'll just leave it at that.
So Chad did put me on the hit list, right?
Oh, you're the bad boy? You're in the bad boy club?
Well, he called you Fremer Jr., but other than that.
Wow. Wow.
No, he didn't. He doesn't know you exist.
So there's the dartboard in his office. Unless Matthew's picture, Fremer's picture, and now Jason Rojas' picture.
Unless Michael 45 told him. I don't know. OBC review.
Well, I put the OBC review. It was, I don't know, contentious is the word. I put it up there. I was just being honest. Like, I didn't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Nobody is saying anything that isn't accurate.
Sure.
I mean, that's the thing about it. It's not that it's inaccurate. The issue goes back to really some things about the original recording, and some of that comes out in the quad a bit, which most people don't have to compare it to. So so I'm going to kind of take you guys on a little journey.
Are you taking us on an excursion, David?
A little excursion. Yeah.
Is it an audio excursion?
It's a virgin excursion.
Hey, talking to the wrong person, buddy. been a long time since I heard the name. Hey, Harmless Rebel raises a good one. He says, in all honesty, the UHQRs have been a miss across the board. The only one I really like is Eastman Vibration. The others have been disappointments. Where would you guys kind of fall on that? I mean, I'm assuming everyone has at least one UHQR on the panel. That's it.
Actually, I don't.
Brandon, you sat this one out. How come?
I don't have a single one.
Is it the box? Did Mazzy ruin you? Did he sour you with all the box talk?
In the clearing stands a boxer.
Well, that's interesting. So, Brandon, why have you set this one out? Is it you don't, the titles haven't inspired you? The box? I mean, it could be a lot of reasons. The price.
Yeah, I mean, when it kind of came to the forefront and started becoming one of the things, it almost came across that way. It's just one more thing, one more audiophile path that someone wants to kind of take me down, and sure. I just never caught on to it.
Did you catch a one steps? You do those?
I maybe have 6 or 7 one steps.
Okay, well you've gone, you've taken the 2x45 drug.
Right,
yeah, okay.
but at the same time, all my one steps are sealed.
Oh, well, no, you haven't. They call him Flipper. No.
So that was more so stuff was at the shop, and I was just kind of like,
I got
sure,
you.
I'll put this in the collection. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never had a strong pull towards that like the new audiophile, that type of thing. It's kind of like the near mint OG stuff. It's just what's always pulling at me, and I'll tend to fade there more than kind of newer audiophile pressings.
Interesting. So UHQRs, generally speaking, for the folks that do have them, Arnaldo, where do you land on this one?
I think I like them better than the one steps. For the first reason, and this is my little pet peeve with MoFi.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Steve.
What's up, man?
The freaking banner up top, and the fact that the artwork on the one step is like this big. Why do you need such a big black album sleeve and make the artwork so small?
Perceived value.
I don't get it. Also, because they give you the little fold out. Okay, you gave me the fold out.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
the stupid
you don't get the sleeve. Yeah, you don't
banner up top, and I'm like, even on the fold out, it's like I know you want to. You that's your branding for the outer cover, right? That band, but you're giving me a reproduction of,
And then on the inner, it's the same. I mean, the inner.
That's what I was saying. The inside is just way too small. At least
I will say that Eagles
smokes.
That Eagles pressing is one of the most amazing records I've ever heard.
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
Actually, all of the amazing or the Eagles have been really
Eagles
good,
are
but
very
that
good.
one particularly is fantastic.
Yeah, I like both of the Eagles ones. I got the first 2 Eagles.
Yeah, I've got all 4 of them so far, and all 4.
One of these nights really is amazing.
The first and the fourth one are by far my favorite.
One of these nights and the first one, I agree.
But man, they all sound. I mean, I've got original pressings and Japanese pressings of all the Eagles albums, and they smoke them. Same thing with this one, the Elvis Presley. I've got the original MoFi of that one. I've got an original pressing, and I like the sound of that one better as well.
Mm-hmm.
The issue I have with the UHQRs, though, the first 4 were quality issues. The Miles Davises, I got both of them replaced like 4 times. I never got a clean copy. The Jethro Tull sounds really good, only because it's a loud album to start with. When it gets quiet, you can hear the noise on the pressing.
Are you using a microline or a Shibata stylus, or just an elliptical?
I am using the SLC, the super. What do they call it? It's
linear. What is that? An Ortophon?
No. It's the VM760 SLC.
Oh, okay. Shibata.
No, it's not the Shibata. The Shibata is the one below this. This one's a different cut. This is supposed to be a little bit.
Well, then you're down in the groove further, so you're going to have a worse experience actually.
See, I find the opposite. I find that the micro line that I have. So, for instance, I have a Doors MoFi pressing. What's that? 81 or 82 when they did that one. And when I played that on an Ortophon, the Ortophon Black, it was super noisy. But when I play it on the micro line that goes deeper in the groove, it's dead quiet.
Mhm.
So I've only had 2 or 3 records that are louder on the micro lines than with the Shibata or the standard.
Mhm.
What do they call the standard cut? The
Elliptical.
yeah, the elliptical cut. So I've had really good luck. This one sits a little bit different. This one doesn't sit as low as the micro lines, but it's still got kind of a wide cut so that you get more surface, according to their website. But this is their most expensive from that line, and I love it. I've had it for about 6 months now, and it's my favorite needle that I've had so far. So,
And you said it's a 760.
yeah, that's the 760 SLC.
Yeah, that's a good unit.
I've
760.
I've had more issues with the MoFi one steps than I have with the UHQRs. I've only had an issue with the Jethro Tull. I had one LP replaced, I think, but almost like I've had quite a few one steps with either scratches, off center.
Oh, really? I haven't had any
Yeah,
issues
and,
with the.
I
with
may
the-
have gotten one with like a ticking sound on it, which didn't seem like a scratch, but I just kept hearing this ticking sound for like 4 or 5 rounds. Yeah, so I think the quality control is better, in my opinion, on the UHQRs than it is on the one steps, just by my experience, you know. But
See, I've had the opposite, especially with the first 4 UHQRs. All of them have been super loud pressings. The first one that was dead quiet that I got that I didn't have to replace was Rastaman Vibration, and I think that's the best release they've had so far. I think Exodus. I think that the Half Speed Master sounds a little bit better. That came out 2 years ago, and I haven't bought any of the Steely. I'm not a Steely Dan fan. Funny enough, I'm going to see him in a few weeks because they're opening for the Eagles. But I'm not actually a Steely Dan fan, so I haven't bought any of those. But
well, we're getting some hot takes coming. Sean Howard says F MoFi.
I get it. I
Is
get
that a
it.
grade?
And I used to buy just about every MoFi that came out, and I don't anymore.
Yeah, I used to too. I don't either.
And
Melinda Murphy joining us. Will any of you guys buy the Van Halen one step? This is one close to her heart, so let's be gentle with what we say.
I will get those.
The reason I might buy it, but I probably won't, and the reason is, and I did this. I said this on my review for Jimi Hendrix. When you have distorted guitars, it kind of takes away. You lose that high fidelity feel. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't sound the same with real heavily distorted guitars as it does with real clean sound of music, you know. And I've seen that in other ones too, like the who did the Everclear albums? Was that Intervention?
Intervention, yeah.
And they sound great, but it just doesn't. And they're super clean. They sound better than the original pressings by 10 miles. I don't know, something about having the punk and metal, hard rock. It just doesn't have the same effect on audiophile vinyl that traditional rock and classic rock and country do.
Right on. Well, now Harry is taking the opposite approach. I'm passing on all the Van Halen titles. Harry, is there a reason? Are you upset?
I got a weird thing going on. I'll come right back.
Okay, you got a weird thing going on. Well
if I get any, it'll be the first one because that's my favorite Van Halen album.
Well, Jose is sitting on deck. Should I elevate him? I know David said he had a weird thing going on. Do we vote to bring Jose on?
He's wearing a black T-shirt. If not,
if Jose's wearing a black T-shirt, all right, we'll pull you in, Jose. If anybody wants to jump on any time, I think David will be coming back. But a black T-shirt, Jose.
I'm always wearing black. I'm always.
Where have you been, Jose?
I was in a meeting here in my house with some friends for work, and it took way longer than I thought it was going to. So,
what kind of work, Jose? What kind of work is the work you can't talk about?
No, it's just my label and making.
I was joking. I
know, but no. For real this time, I told Jason. I don't know if he said anything.
No, he passed the word, and we were waiting. We were just waiting for you to just pop up out of anywhere.
Sorry.
And then, no. Listen, no big deal. It's all good. It's all good. We had a great show. We made fun of you, Jose.
All right.
No, totally kidding. No, I was glad to
Oh,
have
I
you.
was going to say though, speaking of the Jethro Tull though,
Mhm.
I think that the Steven Wilson mix from what was that 2012 or 2013, I think that one blows away the sound of the UHQR. I think it's miles ahead of the UHQR pressing. So
I just sold my UHQR for that same reason, because it's two different mixes, but still, if you know the UHQR is probably the best from the original mix, and you still like, at least for me, I like the Steven Wilson way more. Like, why will you have the UHQR?
Well, and I've got the MoFi from the early '80s too, and I've always thought that was a great sounding pressing too. The UHQR was better than that, but it wasn't like a big step above for me.
Yeah, but the Steve Wilson remix in general, it just sounds.
Oh
great.
yeah.
So
All the ones he did, I've got 5 of the Steven Wilson Jethro Tull mixes, and all of them are the best sounding versions of those albums.
Man, it looks like David agrees with you on that one.
Do you like the remixes he did for the Black Sabbath boxes? I don't know if you've heard those, the Black Sabbath box sets.
I have all the box sets. None of them are opened.
Oh,
I've bought all the Black Sabbath. I didn't know that he did those. He did.
He did some tracks. Yeah,
I've got the Opeth album that he did. That's really good too. What was that, like 2012 or 2013?
Also, these the King Crimson ones. These ones has a sticker that says that.
I can't stand that album though.
I'll say this. I actually had I listened to a lot of King Crimson. This is the record that I listened to the least.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna listen to I was listening to this one a few hours ago. Oh shit. This one. The
yeah.
This cool. Is pretty good. Fracture is here, and Fracture is probably there's a guy on YouTube that has like a video of him trying to learn that song called Fracture, because it's probably one of the most impossible songs to ever like, if you play guitar for years and years, you can't play that song. It's extremely hard. But
Jose, is that a Rodney Dangerfield record right there? I did not have that on my Jose record collection bingo card, but I love it.
Children under 16.
That is amazing. Amazing.
I love
This is a great one.
He's so good. Anybody on the panel, Melinda, has anyone heard any rumors about the other UHQRs that they might put out besides Steely Dan? Because there are gaps on those catalog numbers, and it's the great game of Hangman that people try to.
Yeah, I heard they'll be announcing them in 2 weeks.
I think his problem is with the UHQR.
That's a running joke. You're supposed to laugh.
Oh, listen. You're running in that Steve Westman circle, so I don't know. You may have some inside information. I don't know.
No, I am a Steely Dan fan. I know some people here are not, and I am way more in the side of people hating Steely Dan than liking it. When it comes to, I don't know why. I understand that Steely Dan was not in print, that it was great that they were doing represses of it, but I think that the right way would have done like 33 and 45 normal editions and be done with it. Why
they're about to come out? It was just announced that the whole discography is about to get repressed by.
Yeah, and they're doing it. Yeah, it's like at the same time.
Is it Bernie Grundman that's doing it?
I think it's someone else at his.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard Bernie Grundman, but yeah,
it could be. But what I mean is that it's great that they're doing like their reissues, because they are needed, because most of them were like not in print, like forever, only on CD.
Yeah, they're $100.
But why not take like the route of like, even MoFi, I think, does a great job with that. It's like, even their digital step records, some that are 33 RPM, they're like $39 or what, and that's a reasonable price, I think, for like an audiophile copy. And you don't have to go the extra mile. Yes, you can do the extra mile, but 10,000 copies.
Yeah.
That's like 3,000 and then do like the normal 45s and maybe like a 33, but 10,000, it's way too much.
Well, we were saying this before we started, and they're going to be the Steely Dans. I mean, I feel like they're going to be eating on these because Arnaldo, weren't you saying that they've got to go through the allotment or the manufacturing run of these UHQRs first before they do the other ones?
When he announced it
Yeah,
last
I don't think
year,
they're going to do it.
he said when these run out, when the UHQRs run out, they'll do the regular versions.
I don't think
Not
those
the digital ones that are coming out through Universal. They'll do the non-UHQR ones still.
Well, here's the
analog
thing.
and
I don't think his
133.
I don't think his UHQR vinyl sounds better than his regular vinyl though. Like the Doors albums, I think they sound better than the any of the UHQRs. Those are what 40, 49 or $59 albums. Same thing with the what was the other one he did? Was it Leonard Skinner? Those Leonard Skinners kill, and they sound better than a lot of the UHQRs.
My Jethro Tull UHQR was extremely noisy. They had to give me 2 replacements for the A and B side, because they were extremely noisy. I mean, yeah, Asia, they could do more copies, but the Royal Scam, which is a great record, it's probably one of my favorites, if not my like the one that I play the most. Like making 10,000 copies of that record, I'm guessing they would probably do great if they did like 3,000,
right?
But or 5,000, but 10,000 out of that particular record.
Well, we saw what happened with MoFi. They did what 25,000 of Michael Jackson. Yeah. They're going to have those forever. 10 years from now, they're still going to have copies that they can't sell.
They did 40,000 of them.
Oh, was it? I mean, that's even crazier.
Part of it, Arnaldo, you chime in here. Like part of it's the deals they're making. Like these numbers are kind of in a lot of respects forced down their throat. Like I know Steely Dan was a passion project for Chad. It's very clear. You're watching all his videos, but like I think if you gave him the truth serum, I think Michael flashed up there at 30,000 Asias like that. I hope for Chad's sake that's not accurate, because those will outlast all of us on the panel, I'm afraid.
The only one that I get doing that many is Hotel California, but that's one of the best selling records of all time.
Of course.
And I know a lot of people that don't buy One Steps that have pre-ordered that already. So
that makes sense.
But there's some records that I think that MoFi being more conservative in their pressings and the way they do it, it's way better, because I know it's more frustrating and people during the pandemic really hated it. But it's like when they did 3,000 copies, they made like 1,500 first, and then like a year later they would do the other. And it might be frustrating, but I for a company, I think that it works way better than having 5,000 of that. And yeah, Can't Buy a 3 might have been great and all that, but it's like, man, really, how like, and they still planning on making like 45 non-clear vinyl or whatever that.
Well, I think the FOMO from the pandemic is gone too. During the pandemic, everybody was. I mean, MoFi would post something and it would sell out in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. True.
And now it's going back to they post something, it's there for a week or two. You can still get it. So it's kind of going back to the pre-pandemic where it should be, Yeah. And you're seeing the prices go. People say that the prices are going down because of controversy. They're really not. They're going back down because the pandemic's over,
Well, they've been doing something that I think it's very interesting, is that they've started to repress a lot of things that did good, but they were not as expensive. Again, like all the Bob Dylan MoFi records, the Blood on the Track one, it's $39. Yeah, it's $39. So that one is a great, because I think the one that you can get on Amazon right now, it's like $30.
Not just that, all the Bob Dylan MoFis and the Miles Davis MoFis are the best sounding pressings you'll ever hear of those albums. Every one of them are amazing. I've bought, do I have it here? No. The Bill Withers too, all the Bill Withers stuff that they've done is 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and even if they're digital, whatever, they're not doing analog. Anyone else is they're not doing it. So you're gonna have a good record.
I'm curious about Vinyl Me Please though, because they say it's AAA, the Miles Davis box set.
Yeah, they say that, but it's like
I'm curious though, because from what I understood, a lot of that stuff, the tapes weren't in good shape to start with. So on a couple of those albums, so I'm wondering if they are truly AAA.
Yeah, but
Could be
vinyl,
like production masters, Steve. So they didn't tell you, like they just say AAA. No discussion about like what tape source.
Well, yeah,
Is it the backup
they did
tape?
that.
Yeah.
So that's I hear a lot of guys talking about they need to do the Black Sabbath AAA. They did the Black Sabbath AAA. What was it, like 2010 to 2014? And those all sound amazing. Those, other than the UK pressings that you're going to pay $600 for, those rhinos from the early 2010 to 2013 are the best sounding pressings of those. But they were AAA, but they wouldn't talk about what masters they used or where they got the tapes from. So
I think that Rhino has a good chance of doing great titles.
Dude, the Cars album, I've listened to like 30 times. It sounds freaking amazing.
Yeah, but imagine like Ramones, something that's even extremely popular, but Ramones or the first Black Sabbath, Master of Reality.
Yeah,
I would hate it if they did Paranoid. I like the record, of course. I am a big Black Sabbath fan, but it's a record, I prefer any record than, like, if I have to buy another Black Sabbath record again. But Black Sabbath this year, they supposedly are going to do Born Again expanded version and the Tony Martin box set.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. So Rhino does some weird stuff though, because they did the AAAs back in 2010 to 2013, but then they did the deluxe editions that came with the second CD or the second album.
Yeah, I have
those. Were taken from the Sanctuary masters, which were digital and sounded like crap. So they're really hit or miss,
Well, I think one of the Born Again, I like that record, but it sounds extremely horrible.
Yeah.
Like the production of that, and that's a record that if like Steve Wilson remixed, that would be like, imagine that. Like,
I think that album sounds bad because the band didn't give a shit. They were splitting up when they were recording it,
So I'm gonna ask a question of the panel, and help me out. And I'm saying this kind of tongue in cheek. Has the title that Chad said we're gonna poop our pants with, has that been released?
No.
I'm being honest, because that was the big thing 2 years ago. It was like, okay, I can't tell you, but it's gonna blow you away.
Are you wearing diapers right now?
Right? Are you wearing diapers? And it's like I stocked up. I went to Sam's Wholesale Club and bought a pallet of Depend, not Depends. People say it wrong. Depends. It's Depend.
I'm
ready,
curious.
and I don't feel I've soiled anything. So what am I missing?
I'm curious if he's going to get to do one of the Pink Floyds.
No.
He's done the SACDs of the Pink Floyds. So I really thought that.
I really thought that he was going to do Dark Side of the Moon, like something along those lines. That would have been incredible.
Because those reissues they did a couple years ago, the mastering sounds good, but the pressings all sound like crap. They're really noisy pressings.
I'll bet you $1 because I'm okay with losing $1. But the next UHQR, if they do rock record, it's gonna be the Lynyrd Skynyrd one, because they already have the rights for that one. It's gonna be something again. Because that's something I really hate about MoFi, is that they're starting to do like the same record, super vinyl, one step, and then it's just like, what is this? Like, I don't need all this copies of all of this.
Well, the stuff they've announced, though, they've announced Bruce Springsteen. I don't know anybody that's going to pay $125 for a Bruce Springsteen record. None of his records.
Hang on. There is somebody in the audience. His name is Harry. He lives in Tacoma, Washington.
I know Harry.
Pay $200.
But his records famously don't say, they're not the best pressings. He used digital as soon as it became available. They were never the greatest pressings.
Have you ever on cue, fellas? I told you, here he is. This is the guy.
Have you ever listened to this?
No.
The Basement tapes. This is lo-fi music. This is Bob Dylan's Basement tapes. This sounds amazing on MoFi record. This sounds incredibly beautiful. It's like a demos record, and it sounds literally recorded in the basement, but this pressing sounds really nice. And so I'm not afraid of like them putting records that are not extremely audiophile, and I actually encourage it.
No, I just don't think that they need to be doing one steps of the Bruce Springsteen stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They did 45 RPM. Same thing with the Joni Mitchell. They're doing the whole Joni Mitchell disc. I get Blue. They'll sell out that on a one step. But even though I like, what is it, Sparkle and is it Sparkle and Fade? What's her other?
Court and Spark.
Yeah.
What is it?
Court and Spark.
Court and Spark. Yeah, that's a fantastic album. But I don't think any of those are going to sell the way that Blue will, and they're doing a crazy amount of those too.
And the only thing that I have on Rhino is that I think that they could either go the safe route and keep repressing like jazz records that are like extremely popular. Wait, my God. But I think that the good thing would be to do like the Black Sabbath, that even if it's popular, there's a demand for having like a high quality pressing of that record. But I just hope they don't do if they press
that would be good. Maggot Brain.
That'd be great.
This is if you took a straw poll, I George Foreman guarantee this is one of the 5 albums that every record collector would say, yes, find the tapes. If the tapes aren't available, give it the best treatment possible, and I will, just on that opening Eddie Hazel like solo, like it'll sell. And I want to be very clear. I'm sure people have tried, but so far the results, like, was it 4-man, hands, beard, something? I mean, sounds like dog shit.
Four bearded,
like literally dog shit. Like I wouldn't even try to prank somebody with a copy of that. It's terrible.
It is.
We got there. Was it Hawkwind? Oh yeah, there it is. 4 men with beards. Yeah,
they suck ass.
They should be called 4 men with bad ideas and bad execution. Because terrible. That's a good question though. What would be if you had one list? You had that. There's no restriction, and you could go to any label and make it happen. I mean, Maggot Brain would definitely be in the conversation. Brandon, what would you think if you could have an audiophile pressing of one record? And again, this is hypothetical. It would be done the right way. There would be no corners cut. What would you think for you personally?
Oh man, that's a tough. I mean, I probably have to go with Maggot Brain. I mean, again, now that one's kind of thrown out there, it's hard for me to kind of defer to anything else. I mean, of course, I'm a Godsmack fan, so there's all kind of stuff I would love to actually have on vinyl. But in the context of this question.
Do you have an original Maggot Brain, the westbound pressing, or do you have any?
No, I have the 4 men with beards.
Oh, they tricked you too, huh?
Yeah.
4 guys with money, right?
Yeah, 4 guys with money. You're right.
4 guys with all your money.
4 guys with all my money. Yeah, and you know what? They did interesting represses, like the titles they chose. Again, this is a Hawkwind record, and they did like a bunch of people.
Yeah, they did Tim Buckley. They did yes. They did Scott Walker. They did really interesting titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, and the jackets are not horrible. You know, they're like whatever, but they're not horrible. But the pressings are like, wait a minute, what is this? It's like they didn't even do a master. I think they didn't do a master. I don't know if it's here, but I don't think anyone did a mastering for this. I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, Arnaldo, you've had a few seconds to digest that question from earlier. Is there a title that comes top of mind that it would be your number one draft pick of audiophile? It doesn't matter if it's Chad, if it's MoFi. What would it be?
DU Meter said it. That's the one.
Is it Maggot Brain? See, that's what I'm saying.
Just a few days ago, I was flipping through a record store, and they have a double version of it. There's the album. It says From High Res Transfers, and then it has the second disc is actually the Maggot Brain song on a 12-inch.
Okay.
It's the most recent version that is out of Maggot Brain. I think
is that the one with the Obi? I've been seeing they've been doing funky.
No, it doesn't have an Obi.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't remember if it has an Obi, but it has a hype sticker on it, and it says that it's a it says that it's from high res files from the analog masters. So who knows where they got them and when they got them.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I don't even think maybe I saw that once at a store.
Mm-hmm.
I have not even seen an original copy anywhere.
Maggot Brain?
Yeah, not even at a record fair.
No, I have.
I would love to see the Van Morrison titles from the second album through Tupelo Honey done on audio file.
Do you have that Vinyl Me Please? We Don't Fleece?
No.
I don't have it either. But
I have it.
I've heard that it's really good.
Well, and those albums all sound really good original pressings, so I think audio file pressings would take them to the next level. I would love to see Heavy Weather, but I don't think I don't think there's enough people that like Weather Report at this point in history that it would sell that well.
This would be my pick. If I have to like an audio file rate pressing of something, it would be this. I don't know if anybody hears kind of a
Hang on, Jose. Hang on. Spaceman.
Nope. Spaceman 3, yeah. Nobody knows this? Oh my god. It's the shoegaze fathers of all.
Jason Rojas, you don't know what this is?
UHQR Rodney Dangerfield.
There it is. There it is.
10,000 easy.
Look, side 1, no respect. Side 2, son of no respect.
Right.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty good. This is actually a good one, and Brandon, I think you'd agree on this
MoFi
one.
had that, right? With
They did, but there's the rumored the remix, the 2004 remix.
I have it. It's not a great sounding record. I have the CD too.
But does it sound like this?
I mean, it sounds good for the $29 or $30 that I paid for it when it came
back
out,
in the day. Yeah, your investment's tenfold now, but
actually no, I sold it. I sold it like a year ago. I think I sold it for like $300. When it got to $300, I sold it because I thought it sounded terrible. I'll never listen to it.
They not with this.
That actually, Jose, that sounds like Buttholes. You like that? No, I'm serious because they left out. Didn't they leave out Island in the Sun? I mean, first of all,
No. What they did was that hash pipe. It's like a radio edit.
Right. No, I mean, come on, Rivers Cuomo. What were you thinking? I mean, again, that's a Hall of Fame MoFi misstep. It was whether the band made that choice or whoever running MoFi. I mean, terrible.
Yeah,
crime against humanity.
It's not good, but I don't mind it.
Those are going to get repressed pretty soon too. They've done just about everything else.
Jose, you don't have the original, the green vinyl?
I think the blue is out of print. I don't think they have the license for the
I
blue.
have that one. That one sounds really good. I have the original Blue album from like 10 years ago that was on black vinyl, and that one sounds really good.
Sorry, Vance. It's a real problem I have. So, Jose, is this one of your patented $1 fines?
I don't remember where. I think I found this on Austin, but it's mint. Like, there's nothing wrong with this record.
Oh, sure. I wonder why.
I've played this record through at least 10 times. At least 10 times.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, hey, unrelated, Jose, are you doing the Austin thing? I think I threw you on that invite, right? Okay.
The thing is, you sent me the link through Instagram.
Yes.
So I never open Instagram on my computer, but I will tomorrow. All right.
Listen, I'm taking a lot of heat because I'm trying to organize this, and everybody's all spread out even on their different social medias. And I'm throwing this thing out there.
No, it's cool, but I never open it in.
All right.
But
I will. Just remember the Friday of the record show. We're trying to get a dinner to go on.
All right. I will. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been in such a long time to that.
Listen, Jason moved his whole life to get a 6-month head start, so he would get acclimated to the weather, the restaurant scene, and then he could be our tour guide. So, I mean, that's tip of the cap, Jason, for changing your whole life just for our gathering in the fall.
Gotta get out of here.
Actually, Jason, you're going to be plane setting because you're going to go. Well, I mean, Austin's local for you now, but you've got that, and then isn't that New York, that W fan or whatever it is? That's the next weekend, isn't it?
That's like in 2 weeks. I think WFMU is like 2
Okay,
weeks.
so you got it. So there's a gap week there. Okay,
Mhm.
hitting them all. You hit Den Bosch. I mean, you literally are hitting them all.
Are you
Coast-
going back to Den Bosch in November?
I don't know about that. I don't know. Can't be doing the VC World Tour and still buying one steps. And
Why not? You're meeting everybody. You're meeting Esposito.
Well, yeah. Mike
Jose,
Esposito.
he was. I'm sorry, Jose. That's on Casablanca Records.
Yeah,
Wow.
isn't that incredible? So that's
Is that from the 70s?
I think it's 1980, isn't it?
look, it's the Casablanca. It's 1980 exactly.
1980. Wow.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
That must have been one of the last ones.
Look who mastered it. Can you see?
Hang on, hold it
Mastered at
Bernie
AAM
Grundman?
Studios by Bernie Grundman.
Look, even David Bianco did the artwork.
Really? Oh, Dave Bianco, yeah.
I think we just sold at least 5 copies of this in your local record stores just from this presentation. So the Rodney
This
Dangerfield
is a
estate.
Bernie Grundman Casablanca cut from the 80s.
Delightful. Look at this.
Did you kiss it?
Yes, of course it is. But it's
Jose, did you have any funny cookies or brownies before you came on?
no.
All right.
I got my wife gave me this. Listomania. Everybody listen to this.
What is that? Oh, Jose.
What's the sword?
Yeah, it looks like a real sword, man sword,
Sure, it is.
flesh sword. Yeah, I had one of those ones, flesh
Well,
sword.
I think I'm on the low percentage of people, but this guy what's the name? Ken Russell. He did like a bunch of he did Tommy, I think Quadrophenia as well. He did this. I like his movies, but this is like a weird thing. It's like Rick Wakeman, Roger Daltrey singing with like Wagner music.
Jose, do you care to comment on Jeffrey's assertion that that's Roger Daltrey's? He modeled for that.
Well, you can see his dong in the movie for sure.
It was done by Plaster Caster.
Well, do you know that box set by Rammstein? They all plaster their members, and they released it as a box set.
Jose,
You bought it, didn't you?
Jose, I'm starting to believe there is such a thing as too many records, and Jose has them.
No. I think it's.
Tell you
I think it's on CD. That's why I didn't got it.
Chance, you mentioned that Rhino might do the safe thing and just do jazz. I don't know that that's really the safe thing now. The jazz market's being flooded right now.
Well, it's getting flooded, and I think most of
And the sales are going way down. One of the stores that I know that was making most of their money off the jazz reissues said that the Tone Poets, they're only buying like 3 or 4 now because that's all that they're selling. They were selling like 15, 16 of them. And now there's so many jazz titles coming out that it's not worth it anymore. And the Rhino, the Coltrane hasn't sold out. The car's sold out in a couple of weeks. The Coltrane is still there. So
yeah, but isn't it? I mean, I don't know that much about jazz, but I think it's a weird title for Coltrane. Like you could have gone a little bit different, like cosmic music, something like that, like something more niche that people are like, oh, I really want to hear this because it's like a, it's I don't know. It's
Christopher's about an hour behind the program. He says he just came to the point where all those shows Odessa.
Nice. Let me put my. Can I reply to Cesar?
You can do. Oh, you're pulling it out again. You got
Just for background.
Uncle Rodney again. Yeah, just leave him there. Leave him there. Jose, we got a question from Cesar. Have you watched the Fito Paez series? Here he goes.
I don't know where my Fito Paez is.
Oh, this is your time to shine, Jose.
It's El amor después del amor. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Jose, by the way, that record you told me about, the Brazilian record.
Which of all the records?
The one you recommended. What's his name? The guy with kind of like the afro.
The guy, Jose, the guy.
with the big hair.
Gaetano Veloso.
No, big hair. I forgot his name.
Are we playing charades? 2 words. Sounds
Brazilian, big hair.
Yes.
Tim Maya? No.
Yes.
Is that
Maya.
it?
Tim Maya. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. They Esposito just showed that there's a reissue of it.
Oh, I didn't
It
know
just
that.
came out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Vinyl Me, is it the one Vinyl Me Please did like 2019?
No. It's
different one?
it's a
Baby Huey.
yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But you know which one I'm talking about. I'm scrolling through the messages. I forgot what the name of it is.
My favorite Brazilian music is Legião Urbana.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so much real Brazilian music like Os Mutantes, Caetano Veloso.
Oh yeah, Os Mutantes was just here like a month ago.
Yeah. You know,
It's only the one guy since like 1981,
yeah.
but still.
they're all dead or somewhere else.
So there's a huge. My wife's Brazilian. There's a huge Brazilian community here in Georgia. Like everywhere you go, you hear Portuguese. No matter where you are in Atlanta, it's like 300,000 Brazilians live here.
Wow, I would never guess that.
I got this the other day. Have you listened to this? It's Maria Bethania.
Not that album. I know him though.
It's Caetano Veloso's sister. It's pretty good. And this is I always suggest this Caetano because
Jose, was that in your pocket? Where'd that one come from?
yes, this is Jack White reissue this.
Oh, hang on. You must have missed it earlier. We don't want to trigger Jason. We had a real bad experience. Hang on.
Oh, there you go. India. Gal Costa. You know, she
No sex here, right? Chance, no sex here.
Hey, listen. This is at night. We're past the adult hours right now.
This has pretty much everybody. Yao Gilberto, Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil, and Maria Bethania. This is called Brazil.
Yeah, I have that record.
Yeah, this is like the most basic record, but it's pretty good. It's like I don't know if you find this on like dollar bins over there, but this is like you find here in dollar bins and it's pretty good. But all these guys,
here he goes again. Oh, Hurricane Jose is at him.
You try to stop Jose here.
Caetano. No, you know it's you know I would say that 60%, no more, like 80% of the music that I listen to lately is not in English. So you know
Jose, why don't you like Gringos? No me gusta Gringos.
No, Gringos no estar bien. Gringos,
muy malas, muy malos.
muy malos. Yes.
Oh, hang on.
You know, I can do
What
my
is this?
Gringo accent.
So I think Arnaldo, are you saying this is the one, right?
No, I have to look at it. Hold on.
No.
No.
That's not. It's the guy, but it's not the one that came out.
Okay.
You know, but
Jason, can we talk real briefly? Your setup over your right shoulder, so that's your tables. Do you have like house parties? Like that's a pretty unique setup over there.
Well,
for the front board.
we will not be having the Austin Austin record show party here. No.
Okay, I just want to be clear. All right.
But I will be having like a live stream probably on the weekend.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
I will be spinning records. We'll listen to Gal Costa. This is an amazing record.
Yeah, I know
We'll
Felipe
even
likes
listen to the one step if you want to, right? If I don't get stopped by the YouTube police, why don't we give this baby a spin, right?
You know, I know for sure that Chad Chasm's gonna die and he's never gonna listen to that Gal Costa record. I can bet.
Are you going to Selena? Have you asked him this question directly, Jose?
Yes.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right. That is Baby Huey. There you go.
I was about to say that doesn't look like Baby Huey.
That's cousin Huey. That's not baby Huey.
So, is this a good one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And is the new reissue any good?
Don't know about that. Vinyl Me Please took a run at it, like I was saying, I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And that, from what I hear, is pretty good. I've only streamed that album. So
it's hard to find original Brazilian stuff, though. I've been to Brazil a few times, and man, the record stores there are rough.
You know, I always found them here because they export them. For example, like this Caetano Veloso, like they're all Brazilian pressing, so that's why it says también en cassette. también en cassette. Fabricado, distribuido por Fonogras. Yeah, distribuido en Brasil.
Well, you know why the Brazilian companies do that, though? They make more money when they sell it outside of Brazil because they don't get taxed by the Brazilian government at 56%?
Oh my God.
Serie de lujo. Like deluxe series. Like what the fuck is that? Like the most standard ass fucking record you've seen in your life.
Jose, I have a question. I see something floating behind you. Is that a spirit over your left shoulder? Or is it like a lanyard? No, your left shoulder. Is it Uncle Rodney? No, left shoulder. Yeah, what is that? What is that? Floating?
It's another lamp. Yeah.
No, there's like something hanging from it. What is that?
It's like purple and
Oh,
white.
it's a pass. It's a pass.
Oh, like a backstage pass? How'd you earn that, Jose?
My wife went to somewhere. I think
Okay.
like there was a jazz festival in Canada she went to.
Oh, got it. Okay.
It's Sonra Orchestra played.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're not trying to hang yourself or some kind of weird shit that's going to come back on me, all right?
What would I do? I would.
Yeah, you've got Uncle Rodney to pull you through the sad times.
I do have some VHS tapes of Rodney Dangerfield that I've never seen on YouTube, but one day I'll upload.
Wait, you know, Jose, since you haven't noticed yet,
I
kind of did something for you there. I was like, let me wait a few minutes and see if.
Nice, I see that. Nice.
Was that there the whole time?
No, Brandon went dark for a little bit. I thought it was a bathroom break, but it was a Rodney break, is what it was. Look at this.
Is it a Bernie Grunman cut?
You got Rappin' Rodney. Oh, that's a big flex, Brandon. Rappin' Rodney. Look at that one.
And Brandon, how many times have you played that record this week?
I've actually played this one a ton. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Hilarious.
This is like going to become the thing now.
Oh, really? It's
going to no longer be $1 record.
No, it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. You're driving up the price of these things. Thank you.
Rapping Rodney, that's an amazing cover. He looks like shit in that one.
Because on here you have side A is Rappin' Rodney and side B is Rappin' Rodney continues rapping. They're taking a genius to come up with
put a lot of thought into the song titles, or the titles, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
As one of the songs, "No Respect."
No Respect, the remix, yeah.
You know, I'll say the first time that I went to New York alone, like after I graduated high school and everything, my cousin told me, like, straight up in the eyes, never go to Times Square. Never. Just ignore the fact that Times Square exists.
New Yorkers we
I know.
avoid Times Square.
I know. So my cousin was like, never go there. Like,
what's funny is the reason has changed because you used to avoid it in the 80s for a totally different reason than what you avoid it now for.
But my cousin was like, don't go. So of course I go there, right? And then the first guy that walks in me was like, do you know Rodney Dangerfield? I was like, fuck yeah, of course I do. It's like, you know, he had like club, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dangerfield.
Like,
yeah.
Look, this shit costs $100, but if you give me $20 right now, I'll give you one for free. And I was like, how much will you give me for 3? And he was like, I'll give you $10 more and I'll give you a third ticket. And I was like, man, this first time that I've been here alone. It was not the first time that I've been to New York, but it was the first time that I was alone. So I was like, I'll buy these. And I told my cousin, like, we're going to go to the city. I'm going to have a great time. My cousin's like a big like Seinfeld fan. So it's like, we're going to have a great time. We go from upstate New York, dressed up, went to the train, got there. We were outside of the place, and I give these 3 tickets. And the person in the entrance was laughing so hard. It's like, you're the first person that actually comes without knowing that this shit is fake.
Got him.
And they were like so good to me that they were like, you know what, just go in. And they give us like for free to go in. Nice. And we did pay for a drink, but it was incredible. So my respect for Rodney Dangerfield people at the club.
You should have saved the tickets and put them in the record.
Yeah, I threw them away, I think.
This is actually hot take alert. V Meters is right. Rodney Dangerfield is the new Ice Castles. Yes. We'll see if this breaks out from this stream. That'll be the telltale sign. Hey, Jason, can you take this question? We have a new visitor. Stones fan, asks, when you purchase a new record, how warped does it have to be before you send it back for a replacement?
A
If
little
it's
more.
from Third Man Records, you just automatically send that baby back.
Baby Huey. You know,
Don't question. But luckily, I ordered all that stuff through Amazon, so I'll be sending that back to
yeah,
you.
I think I got mine before you, remember? And I told you that mine arrived warped. So, you know.
That's
But-
why I don't like the 180 and the 200-gram records. I get more of those that are warped than any 140 and below record. And the 140 and below, you can straighten them pretty easy. A 180-gram, you can't get that thing to straighten.
No, Vance has done the research. He says the Rodney Albers are now $20 each. Thank you, Jose. And now Brandon. Brandon, thank you for this.
So I'm curious. Jose, you're living in a hot climate. Jason is too now.
Yes.
Well, Steve, Georgia is pretty hot too, right? Southeast. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm starting to think that maybe the summer is not the best time to buy records because especially they're sitting in the trucks.
That's
all the guys doing deliveries, not so much on your doorstep there or wherever, they're leaving it, but they're sitting in the trucks for the entire day. They may not get to deliver your package, especially if it's only one record.
There's
a guy.
This is just my theory because I was talking to somebody at my job.
I love that record.
I love it too, but it's warped.
Oh, really? Mine wasn't.
So I'm actually curious. Have you guys gone to any shows lately?
Yes.
Okay. Have they been selling vinyl at the merch booth?
Yeah.
They have been.
It's like this every year.
So. I would not recommend buying it at the show, at the venue, because it's sitting in those trucks, especially while they're touring all the way. Oh, there's your overkill. See?
Yep.
Oh, by the way, fuck Amazon.
I don't buy them. I don't buy them for the records. I already had that record. I'll if they have a signed record, I'll buy the signed record more to support the band. It has nothing to do with it. I already have that record.
Have you listened to it?
No.
Fuck Amazon.
The show was just last week, so I haven't gotten to it yet. But I already have that record, so.
I bought Tom Waits' 50 anniversaries close in time, and I got this shit on the mail.
I've had that happen. I don't remember what I bought, but I bought a new record, and I got a used record, and it wasn't even in a box. I got a used record in a clear plastic bag with a label on top of it. And it said on the sticker, whatever the record I bought was. So I had to take a picture and send it to Amazon, and Amazon called me or got a hold of me and wanted to verify that one because it was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Jose, I have to laugh because we all know on the panel how much you enjoy Poison. Huge Poison fan, huge Bret Michaels fan. He's also touring right now.
I'm going to see him Saturday.
Wow. But is he touring in his Bus of Love? That's
it's a weird tour. It's like a variety show. He's doing 2 songs. The singer from Journey's doing 2 songs. The singer from Sugar Ray is doing a couple songs.
Of course, yeah. Is Kip Winger doing like a ballerina, like a dance routine?
And then Jefferson Starship is actually doing they're the opening band. So
okay, look, I love this.
Free tickets though, so I'm going.
I love this hype sticker because it says for collectors and super fans only.
Well, Jose, you hit both those marks.
Of course, but I don't know if anybody it's an actual Poison fan, because I asked somebody that's an actual fan, they will tell me like this is not their best record at all, right?
That was toward the end of the run, but it's the original, and Brandon knows this. It's a very collectible record. It's not easy to find.
And I don't know the song. I've never listened to it, probably never will. But any song called Ball and Chain.
Brock P-Dub ordered the latest Tone Poet and got Leonard Skinner. Of course.
Hey, you got to upgrade, Paul.
Well, there's some really great names here. Just on screen up.
Yeah, that's a terrible song.
Oh no.
Something to believe in. That's pretty.
That's a horror.
Don't give up an inch.
Jose, what do you think that song's about?
Ooh,
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
well,
Well, Arnaldo, I'm assuming you were asking that because are you experiencing some more warp records more than usual, and you're just kind of like retconning why you think that is?
No, not necessarily. I was just told by someone that one of the bands that we have is purposely not stocking vinyl on their tour because they just don't want it to get warped and damaged. So I guess they care about their fans. They just don't want to.
Or they care about their bottom line and having to accept the
Well,
return.
no, at the merch booth, you know, it's a one-way sale.
Well,
you're
that's
you're
true.
not
Yeah,
going back. You're not
that's
going back to return it. So I guess.
Well, there's a guy that comes into our shop quite frequently that works at UPS, and we were having a discussion one day about the whole warp record thing, and he was saying like, yeah, we get into these busy times, and we'll have all these tractor trailers that'll come in. He goes, it's very common for them just to sit out back for 3.
Yeah, because they
4
don't.
days
There's
and
only
not
so many
really
bay
unload.
doors. Yeah. There's only so many
Right.
doors to unload and process. Yep.
Yeah, so he's like, it would be very common. You're sending something media mail, it's going to sit out in a truck, 110 degree weather, baking for 3 days straight. With all this other stuff
I haven't-
on top of it.
I haven't had many warped records lately. My issue has been the I don't know if you can see it, the seam splits.
Hang on, see, I'll make it big. Let's show the kids.
Yeah, seam splits are.
Seam split on a gatefold, son of a bitch.
That's
And
a
this-
heavy.
That's hard to do. I'm serious. That's hard to do. Like I give people have been making gatefolds. I think part of the logic is like to avoid seam
Oh, I
splits.
got- I got ripped off lately because I bought this record, right? Peter Tosh. And then I got the record and it's Andrew Tosh. Like, why you want to rip me off? Like, what is this? So I buy a $5 record and I get a 1 cent record. What is this shit?
But Jose, you bought it at a store?
No, I bought it from someone. I
On
paid,
Discogs?
no. A guy here like a truck, and he was like $5.
The guy on the truck.
You gotta stop buying some people off the street, Jose.
Yeah, man. Come on. This ain't like street tacos, Jose. Come on, man.
But wait. So the interesting thing is like,
If you're gonna character assassinate Michael McDonald, I'm hanging up on you.
Peter Tosh. No, I love the Dewey Brothers.
All right, thank you.
Have you seen? There's like there was like on the news. There was like a girl. You saw that? There's like a spotlight. There's
Yeah.
a girl that is obsessed with. Michael.
Yeah. I saw that. It was a news. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
The girl who she's like maybe what 12?
Yeah. Early
Big fan of
teens.
Michael McDonald. Yeah.
All of
Great face.
these together were $5. So I don't regret anything. This is probably the shittiest
No
soundtrack
regrets.
you've never listened to.
I saw that movie in the theaters when it came out.
Oh wow! But you know what? I actually like it. There's a Lou Reed song that it's pretty shitty, but I like it.
There's a
There's
Lou Reed
a few-
song on there? On there's a Lou Reed song?
Yeah, there's a Lou Reed song. My Love Is Chemical. And then Phil Collins does a song with somebody you've never heard. Robert Plant is in here. Roberta Flack, Chaka Khan, David Foster. So it's not a bad soundtrack. So for $5. And then this got to be the worst cover. Like,
Oh, hang on.
There are some bad ones.
Now there's way worse covers than that.
Yeah, come on. Those guys have clothes.
Or-
Those guys have masks.
back cover.
Star Castle has one of the worst covers I've ever seen.
Pablo.
Oh, you're right. You're probably right.
Gracious.
And then that was it. I paid everything for that was like $5. But it was not like that.
No, this is a great question, V Meters. Is it true that you walked out of the theater when you saw a 40-year-old virgin because they talk crap about Michael McDonald? No. And here's why. Because that elevated that man's profile like it needed to be elevated, because everyone had been into a damn Circuit City and heard that stupid song they played on them TVs on loop. So that's what made the joke funny, but it made it funny in a way that people were like, oh, maybe the music's not bad. And anything that elevated. That's why I'm a fan of Yacht Rock. It's only elevated the Silver Fox's profile like it needed to be elevated. Regulate, the Warren G song. I mean, anything that shines a light on the pride of Ferguson, Missouri, I'm on.
Can you believe Circuit City's been gone for almost 30 years?
Crazy. So many CDs. There.
It was like 94 when they went out of business.
You know, there's still Radio Shack.
30 years.
There's still Radio Shack in Mexico.
Oh, really? They're gone here.
Wow.
Yeah. In Spain, there's still Toys R Us.
Toys R Us is interesting, Jose, because Macy's bought the brand, and so they have sub stores like a lot of companies are doing now. Like Kohl's is doing it for Sephora, so it's a store within a store concept. I know this from my Nike days. And if you go to like Chicago, for instance, and you're downtown, you go to the Macy's, the toy department is branded
Toys R Us.
Yeah, Toys R Us by Macy's. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, we're here in Mexico because in my country they didn't have, but here in Mexico, up until 2015, they still had Blockbuster. So that was pretty weird.
There's there was one holdout Blockbuster that was in the state of Washington. Is that still there?
Yeah.
They made a documentary about it, which is like good for you guys.
There's a TV show filmed there.
Yeah,
it's like Amazon Prime or some shit like that.
Interesting, huh?
It's probably shit, but the Radio Shack here, I go there sometimes, but I think it's funny that it doesn't exist over there in the U.S. anymore.
I just remember Circuit City. Was it Carvin or Carver? The components back in the 90s.
Yeah, the Carver.
Man, I used to drool over those things in Circuit City. Every time I went there, dude, they were so nice. The rack mounted. They were like the last brand that still did the rack mount into the 90s.
Yeah.
Oregon.
That was a great store.
R.I.P.
Circuit City was around in New York at least until I want to say the early 2000s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were around for a while in New York. I think
in Phoenix, I was working at one of them for a while, and it closed in 95. It was the last one in Arizona.
Wyoming Dave has re-entered the chat. He said he lives near 2 Radio Shack franchises in Wyoming. There you go.
It's probably the franchisees still own it. They still have because that happened with. So there's 2 CD warehouses here in the Atlanta area, and there's only like 4 left in the country. And what happened was when the company went out of business, they sold them the rights to keep the name and keep the branding and stuff. So
good for them.
All right, boys. Well, I think we're almost on 2.5. I think it's a good way to close, especially when you're talking about Circuit City. We really hit all the marks. I mean, anytime you can end it on a failed electronics retailer, and obviously we've driven up the price single-handedly, Jose, and then Brandon behind him, those Rodney Dangerfield records. So thank you for that.
Watch out, Chad. Wow.
That's the record they was talking about pooping the pants and filling the diaper with. It has to be. It has to be. All right, guys.
He's gonna come out with a video saying
the next UHQR, Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh,
no respect.
First. Good stuff. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for everybody who stuck around or jumped into the gallery. Jose, thanks for coming up there again.
I'm sorry that I missed most.
No, hey, listen, you brought the heat with Rodney Dangerfield. You atoned real quickly, and the penis record, your penis record. So
it's Redox night, man.
All right, we'll do it again a week, not next week, but a week after, 2 weeks. See you then.
Night, guys.
Night, guys. Bye.
Guys.